Welcome everybody. Welcome everybody here to the Harold O. Zimmern Field on Homecoming Day. It's a beautiful day here in Medford, Massachusetts. Students, parents, and alumni all gathering to witness today's contest against the Bowdoin Polar Bears. This time last year, Tufts was able to pull out a surprising win against the Wesleyan Cardinals. But after a crushing defeat against that same team a week ago, the Jumbos now find themselves at 2-3 and out of the playoff race. The same can be said about their opponent today, the 0-5 Polar Bears, as we are set to kick off here. Sean Mitchell from Clarendon Hills, Illinois. Back and to receive is John Andre, the returner. That's going to bounce out of bounds for a penalty to start off the game. So good stuff here to begin the game for the Jumbos. Of course, I'm Trevor Russo on play-by-play, joined by my partner, Sam Brill. And nice to meet you today here for the Bowdoin Polar Bears. One of the things that they really need to control is stopping the run for this Jumbos offense. The Jumbos decide to really rather than the penalty there, so we'll see one more move from the Polar Bears again. Yeah, that's going to be Sean Mitchell. I have to kick it a little farther this time. Actually, I think they are going to go for the re-kick. Probably want John Andre to return. He's had a pretty good season at the back for Tufts. So for the Jumbos, he's today game on our knees to protect the football. Next Thursday, their starting quarterback, Jacob Carroll. He's had all things he's passed through game number 2 interceptions against Wesleyan and now throwing in touchdowns. So we'll see what the Jumbos offense can do. The Polar Bears have been not so great this season. Said it, Pedrini and the offensive line are going to have a good game against the Bowdoin Polar Bears, who rank first in time of possession with 32 minutes. Jumbos rank last with 26. Jumbo's actually the worst rushing offense in the league with only 87 yards per game, which, as you know, in college football is not a winning formula. That kickoff was returned by Xavier Brooks to the 34-yard line. So Carroll is back to pass, and he's going deep for Brendan Dolan, and it's a little too deep. That would have been a touchdown if he had connected, but unfortunately it's going to be 2nd and 10 at the 34-yard line. But love to see the Jumbos opening up against this suspect Bowdoin defense. That's going to be Pedrini for a carry of 2, so going to put Tufts in a not great but pretty manageable 3rd and 7. Now, as you were saying, the Bowdoin defense last in the NESCAC in scoring, allowing 232 rushing yards per game, an astronomical number. Yeah. Back to pass. He's under pressure, and he's going to go down. That is a sack for Nicholas Leahy. Patrick Walsh having a fantastic year. Actually has boomed a 61-yarder, and he's got a pretty good boot here, and it's going to stay in bounds. Great bounce for the Jumbos. That landed around about the 37, bounced 16 yards to the 21. So Patrick Walsh making his presence felt again, and now we're going to see the Bowdoin Polar Bears on offense. Yeah, as you said, Bowdoin having a tough time through the air, actually losing their quarterback, Austin McCrum. He's back out. Actually, no, it's not Austin McCrum. It's going to be Matthew Marcantino to start the game, and we're going to see a rush here. Gang tackled by the Jumbos to about the 23. That's going to be a run by number 80, Aiden Israelski. So starting off with their slot receiver taking snaps. Of course, that's not usually the guy who's running out there. That would be number 6, Nate Rishamadoy. Got interesting formation here, and they're going to do a read option, not going to go for much. It looks like that was Rishamadoy in the Wildcat, handing it off to number 12, Mark Cantino, I think. Actually, no, that wasn't 20. That was Brendan Ward, the sophomore running back. So one running back to another. Does not go for much. And now the Bowdoin Polar Bears find themselves in a 3rd and 7 situation. Into the flat to Brendan Ward, and he's not going to get much, probably for no gain. 4th down tackle, of course, made by the defensive stalwart, Greg Holt. What else can you say about this guy? Michael Chen back to punt. Not a lot of hang time. That's going to be a fair catch by Max Friedman. Actually, not Max Friedman, sorry. Dom Borelli out there fielding punts for the Tufts Jumbos. Most of the punts this season have been caught by John Andre, but it seems they've elected to have Borelli out there as they did against Wesleyan last week. And now Jacob Carroll and the Jumbo offense is on to start their second drive. Going to be out in the flat to O.J. Armstrong, and he's going to pick up about 7. Great job there in the screen pass, O.J. Armstrong. That's where he's best. And they're going to pick up 7, 2nd and 3. Borelli is going to roll his way down to the 45 for a first down of the game for the Jumbos. And it looks like you're right, they're going to hurry up again. And Borelli is still in there for the Jumbos. Took most of the snaps against Wesleyan last week, and he is going to lose yards this time. Probably a loss of 3, and there's a flag on the play.
So after 2 and 3 downs, Tufts throw it nicely in the flat and then try to rush up the field, tire out this Bowdoin defense.
Looks like it's going to be holding on the Jumbos. That's going to be holding on number 57, Khalif Jeter. Left tackle for the Jumbos. Played 3 games this last season. He's played all the games this season.
So definitely not what you want to see there from Jeter, trying to make a play. Even on a loss, you're not supposed to hold there. So now the Jumbos find themselves at 1st and 20 with Woodson in the game.
Yeah, Woodson taking the carry there. A little bit of extracurriculars on the left side. Trevon Woodson, of course, the freshman backup quarterback from New York. And he is, unlike Jacob Carroll, a big rushing threat. And of course, with that weak rushing defense on the defensive side of the ball for Bowdoin, they're going to probably see a little bit more of Trevon Woodson than we did last week, which is none.
And as I said before, one of the keys to the game for Bowdoin is going to be to stop the run. They definitely need to keep contained against a man with legs like Trevon Woodson. He can get out of the pocket and really do damage. He has the ability to extend plays. 2nd
and long. That's going to be Roche out on the side. He's going to be pushed out of bounds at about the 39-yard line. So Trevon Woodson putting him in a good situation to make it a 3rd and manageable. About 3rd and 5 for the Jumbos now. Woodson still in the game. And Roche now on the left side, out to the weak side.
And well done finding Roche there.
Oh, and there's going to be, looks like we might see a penalty here. Actually, no, there was a timeout by Bowdoin. Interesting that they burned that so early. I guess they...
And in the timeout here, looks like Coach BJ Hammer decided to take it to give his defense a little bit of rest. You know, they looked a little bit tired after that first 3 and out. You know, they had to come right back onto the field after the Tufts defense forced a 3 and out of their own. So we'll see what the Polar Bears are speaking over here. Tufts finally able to get the ball moving. Woodson starting something on the outside, finding Roche. And Roche making a nice cut upfield, but someone sweeping his legs out just from underneath him, and Tufts find themselves now with 3rd and 6 with 9:18 to go in the first quarter.
Yeah, you're going to see a lot of passing from this Jumbo's offense, of course, as we said, last in rushing attempts. They prefer to do it through the air. 2nd in passing, 255 yards per game. And Carroll's been a big part of that. He's thrown for over 1,000 yards in just 5 games this season, albeit with 6 interceptions to boot.
So Carroll now back on the field for the Jumbos in this 3rd and 6 situation.
Armstrong in motion. They're going to go back, and that's a free rusher and a sack. That's the 2nd sack of the day, and that's going to be Joe Goetzky. Just really no resistance right up the middle. I don't even think he was blocked on that play, and the Jumbos are going to have to send Patrick Walsh out for the punt.
Yeah, he got in there right between Dylan Daisy and Mark Mulvaney, and no stop there from the Jumbos. No help from the tailback, and Carroll just sat right down, had nowhere to go, nothing to do. Tried to shed the tackle, but unable to do so, and he falls for a sack.
Walsh's first punt of the day was for 52. We'll see if he can do better than that here. A deep boot out of bounds, and it looks like the referee is going to spot it a little closer to the 20. Actually going to run out about the 29, so not as great as the punt appeared. Looks like he booted a little too far to the right, and Bowdoin's still going to have pretty decent field position here to start their second drive.
They're starting this one on their own 29, but after a 3 and out, we'll see what the Tufts defense comes out and does here. We're assuming that there's going to be some more run, but it looks like we've got Risham Odoy back in the Wildcat formation once again.
1st and 10 on the 25. Risham Odoy going to take it himself, and he breaks a tackle, breaks 2, breaks 3, and is brought down for a gain of about 1. So good elusiveness there by Risham Odoy, but really couldn't get it to the outside.
Yeah, well done by the Jumbos. They're keeping contained, making sure Risham Odoy couldn't turn that corner and make a push upfield. So just a gain of 1 there from the Polar Bears. And we'll see what formation they drop into once again. Risham Odoy now been in the Wildcat twice.
And it looks like they're going to make that 3 times. Interesting that they have 2 quarterbacks they've been rotating through and deciding not. Oh, no, actually, it's going to be Mark Cantno. And he's going to throw incomplete. It looked like Max Friedman almost held on to that ball, but popped out. Good breakup by the Jumbos, and it's going to make it 3rd and 9 on the 30.
And a great breakup there from the safety, charging in there when he saw that Jones got beat on the slant route, and just being able to get in there and break up that play, making sure the Polar Bears don't move the chains. Now 3rd down here, and the Tufts crowd begins to get loud.
Mark Cantno back once again in the pistol formation. And he's going to roll out, bootleg out to the side. Aiden Israelski is not going to get there. He's going to be brought out at about the 37-yard line. So 4th and 2 for the Bowdoin Polar Bears. And they're going to bring their punting unit with Michael Chen back onto the field.
And Mark Quintano just trying to make something out of nothing there. His man Israelski didn't exactly go too far to make that route effective enough for a first down. Bowdoin not exactly calling a great play there, trying to make a man miss rather than run a play to get that first down. So now you've got 4th and 2, and the punting unit comes on for the Polar Bears, set back for the Jumbos.
Chen punted for 33 his last time. A lot more hang time on this one, and Andre is going to elect to take the fair catch at the 33-yard line. So the Jumbos starting out here with about the same field position they had on their first and second drive. So let's see if Jacob Carroll and the Tufts offense can make a little bit better. That holding penalty really killed them.
So Woodson's actually going to be coming in for the Jumbos on this possession. But this drive isn't going to be so much about Woodson. I'm going to attribute this one a little bit to the offensive line, see how much success they can have blocking these polar bears.
Yeah, they're going to blitz here. Woodson throwing out to the flat, and they're going to get a 6-yard completion to the graduate student, Frank Roche.
And a nice play drawn up there by Coach Savetti. You know, he saw his offensive line couldn't give him so much, so they go to the outside for Roche.
Woodson going to throw into the flat again to Armstrong, and this one is going to be wrapped up around the 35-yard line. It looks like there was a bit of poor blocking there from Brendan Dolan, and there were 2 polar bears and only 1 jumbo to stop him. So now it brings it into a 3rd and about 7 situation. Pedrini in the backfield now. Going to switch him to the right side. Woodson dropping back, has a rusher, evades him, and he's going to go down. I believe that's going to be another sack for the Bowdoin linebackers and D-line. That's already 3 on the day, and we have 6:13 to go in the first quarter.
So as we said earlier, one of the things was going to be this Tufts offensive line. They've been a little bit banged up, but definitely no excuse to be allowing 3 sacks on the first 3 possessions of the game.
Yeah, of course, you have that incredible D-line for the Polar Bears and Alex Tyson with his 4.5 sacks on the year. Patrick Walsh back to punt. That's going to be a line drive kick that's going to be caught by Israelski. He's going to scoot back, and he's going to be brought down at the 35. He tried to go back to make something happen, and you don't want to go back on a punt return, and there's going to be a flag on the play too, so we'll see what that is. But a poor decision there by Israelski on the return.
So we'll see what this penalty call is. But Israelski trying to make something out of nothing. You know, the small speedster trying to dance around in the backfield, make something happen, you know, try to see the field open up.
Yeah, they're going to call illegal block in the back on Bowdoin. Mike was a little muffled, so I didn't get out who that was, but here we go. Penalties on both sides. Going to drive him back to the 30-yard line, so a loss of 5. And now Marcantino is back out there. Wonder whether it's due to injury or just him being benched, but McCrum was the starter for most of the season. Read option not going to go anywhere as the Jumbos pick that up. Gain of nothing on first down.
Looked like he actually may have sat down for a loss there as the Jumbo defense penetrated the offensive line pretty well there, getting through and making sure he was going nowhere. May have made a wrong read there.
Yeah, the thing is, interesting they're using the read option so much. You know that the Jumbo's defense is vulnerable to that style, but so far, Marcantino on the season, 10 rushes for 8 yards. So not much of a threat. He's going to try to make a threat there with his arm, and that's going to be a drop by Gregory Olson. As you noted, bit of namesake similarity to a certain tight end for the Carolina Panthers, but unlike that tight end, he could not bring it in there.
So Brandon Jones with his first interception last week, getting in there on the block. So now the Bowdoin Polar Bears find themselves at 3rd and long one more time. Not a ton of offense from either team here in the first quarter. Lot of punting, a lot of drives ending up in nothing.
Marcantino back to pass, going to throw to Nate Risha-Madoy, and he is going to get nothing. Actually loses a yard there, so it's 4th and 11. And so far, this has been ugly from both teams on offense.
Definitely ugly. Neither team able to find much. You know, you saw Carroll on the first play, just overshooting his man over the middle. So we'll see who the Jumbos decide to go with at quarterback. Again, last week at Wesleyan, Carroll played the whole game, but this week, Tufts mixing it up, putting in Woodson to shake up the defense.
Chen back to punt. His last went for 40. This one's got a decent hang time. I don't know about the distance, but that's going to be fair caught by Dom Borelli. And the Jumbos are going to start at the 34. Although it's really not going to matter who's back there if the offensive line can't protect long enough for the quarterbacks to make a play.
Definitely. So what you've got now, you've got Carroll back for the Jumbo, so a little bit more arm, a little bit less legs, but you definitely need the offensive line to step up here.
They're going to hand off to Borelli. He's going to take it in shotgun, break a couple of tackles, and that's a great run for Borelli. Going to get 13 yards on that play. Bring him down to the 47 for a first down. Borelli looking more explosive than I remember him. Recovering from that injury early in the season. They're going to go no huddle handoff in the shotgun to Borelli. Again, he's going to break more tackles and bring it down to the 42. This is the weakness of this Bowdoin team, is they have trouble tackling.
Exactly, and great jobs opening some holes there. That's Nick Kranjak and Mark Mulvaney opening up holes for Borelli to wait for and drive right through. 2 gains of 10-plus yards and 2 back-to-back first downs for Dom Borelli. Jacob Carroll having an easy time just waiting and passing off that ball.
And they're going to take the read option. Carroll going to run himself. Going to be brought down by Leahy and Goetzky.
And well read there by Carroll. You know, he saw the linebacker coming in and decided to take it himself the other way.
2nd and 4 for the Jumbos. Borelli still in, not seeing much of Pedrini, just like last week. Borelli going to take the handoff in shotgun again, and he's going to get to the outside for another first down.
And that's the 3rd rushing first down for the Tufts Jumbos here on this drive. Something that they haven't done super effectively so far this season, but, you know, you've got Borelli able to make those cuts, able to push himself upfield, as you said before, a little bit like a bowling ball, just bowling over that defense.
Yeah, they're going to bring in a jumbo set here. Borelli going to break another tackle, finally brought down at the 25-yard line, but that's a gain of 7.
And
this is ridiculous production from Borelli.
And the Bowdoin Polar Bears have had a tough time all season making tackles. They rank at the bottom of the NESCAC and 10 tackles fewer than the next lowest. So it's one thing that they really need to work on here. Not being able to tackle Borelli has certainly hurt them.
Interesting set here. 2 backs to the right. Going to have Pedrini in pass protection, and Dolan coming right off his face, actually. Looked like a Bowdoin linebacker or defensive back had a chance at the ball there. So that's going to be a rare non-first down on this drive for Tufts, and they're going to see a 3rd down.
And a slightly bad read there from Carroll. It looked like Goetzky had a chance to pick that ball off, but just being tipped. And a fortunate break for the Jumbos.
They're going to run on 3rd down, and this time they make the tackle. Actually losing 2 is Borelli. So that's going to be the 27-yard line. Make it around a 44-yard field goal for Alswanger if they decide to go for it. But it looks like they're going to keep the offense on the field.
And Borelli comes up limping. That's definitely not what you want to see here from this Tufts team. Borelli's been one of the highlights so far. They finally found something that worked and kept feeding him, but definitely upset that you see him limping off.
Going to keep Winton Blunt now and Donahue in motion. Now motioning Armstrong to the other side of the field. And Bowdoin is going to burn their 2nd timeout.
And Coach B.J. Armstrong electing to take a timeout on 4th and 5. Got to talk it over with his defense. This could be a really costly conversion for the Polar Bears, or a huge defensive stop and try to change this momentum.
And maybe a small part of this, but do you think he's trying to get Coach Jay Savetti to reconsider going on 4th down here?
I'm not so sure about that. It looks like Coach Savetti's pretty certain that this is what he wants to do. You know, he didn't really take a ton of time. The play clock wasn't really winding down all that much. Armstrong just decided to take a timeout, maybe talk this one over. This is a pretty big play, especially with the home crowd. It is homecoming, so this is one of the bigger Tufts football crowds that you're going to see here.
Yeah, well, you'll notice, too, Alswanger practicing his boots right now, but it looks like he's going to have to go down to the sideline, practice for another day, as the Jumbos are going to go for it on 4th and 5.
And while Alswanger did miss a key field goal in last week's game against Wesleyan, he was booting 55-yarders here in warm-ups and knocking him through with ease.
Carroll's going deep to Armstrong, and it is dropped. A little bit off his hands, but I think also that was number 7, Soren Birkland, getting a little bit of a hand on it. So I'm going to revise the earlier drop call, but I think Armstrong should have had that one.
Yeah, it looked like it hit Armstrong right on the hands. He's trying to make a play, laying out for that one. And definitely a tough break for these Tufts Jumbos. You thought they ran a great play. Carroll dropping back. The offensive line did break a little bit. Carroll did have a man in his face. But now we'll see what the Polar Bears can do on offense, as it looks like we'll have Risham Odoy in the Wildcat formation once again.
Yeah, and the thing about that call to go for it on 4th down is it's essentially as if you were punting from the 30 or 40. So not a big deal for the Jumbos, but it hurts to not get that touchdown, as Risham Odoy is going to be tackled for a gain of 2.
And nicely done there by Maggetto, reading that run play and getting in there on that tackle on Risham Odoy, one of the more elusive running backs in the NESCAC. He tried to turn the corner, but met there by Maggetto, and a nice, strong tackle from him.
I'm a big fan of Maggetto. He is a hard hitter and has saved a couple of games for the Jumbos so far in his career. But now Marcantino in the shotgun, and he's going to hand it off to Risham Odoy, who's going to get a little bit more this time out to the 34-yard line. Make it a pretty manageable 3rd and 3 for the Polar Bears.
And we'll see what the Polar Bears decide to go with. I wouldn't be super surprised if it was another run, possibly kick it to the other side of the field for the Polar Bears, as Marcantino looks over to his sideline for the play. Play clock down to 19 now for the Polar Bears.
35 seconds to go in the first quarter. Marcantino in the pistol. The Jumbo D-line up there. Try to run a stunt, and it looks like he's going to be brought down. The stunt working wonders for the Jumbos, and I think that's going to be Tom Baker with the crucial sack on 3rd down. And it looks like we're going to see Michael Chen coming out pretty soon. But good stuff from Baker there, his 2nd sack of the year.
And the nose tackle really getting in, beating his man, and following Marcantino all over the field, making a nice tackle there.
Yeah, it looks like that's going to be the end of the first quarter, but excellent call there by co-defensive coordinators Kevin Farr and Randy Wright to run the stunt with Nandan Dovic, and Quinn Fay flushed him out of the pocket to the left, where Tom Baker could just give him a nice big bear hug and bring him down.
Absolutely, definitely a great play there. You got to flush him out, make sure Baker's doing his job and keeping contained, make sure Marcantino can't turn that corner, and he got right in there, and as you said, gave him a big bear hug and brought him down. So 4th and 8, and the Polar Bears will be back to punt at the beginning of the second quarter.
Yeah, Michael Chen is going to have a sore leg at this rate. He's had 3 punts for 110 yards already. Average of about 37 per boot, so pretty good.
It'll definitely be interesting to see what the Jumbos are going to go out into in terms of an offensive formation here. They've played with Woodson a little bit, they've played with Carroll a little bit, but the thing that's been consistently working is running with Dom Borelli, but we saw him limp off in the middle of that previous drive, so we'll see what happens after the high snap. That one booted.
Andre's going to let it go, and a favorable bounce, I'd say, for the Jumbos as it goes down to the 33. Almost a disaster for the Bowdoin Polar Bears. Of course, Tufts fans have memories of bad snaps this season, as there was an unfortunate play in, I believe, the Amherst game where long snapper Will Candianis snapped the ball over Patrick Walsh's head for a safety. So taking them out of that game. And a lot of games have just been sort of heart-wrenchers for this Tufts Jumbos team, as, losing to Amherst on a safety is never great. But you also had last week's mini debacle against Wesleyan, where it was tied with 6 seconds left, and
after a blown coverage, as you astutely pointed out, Wesleyan was able to walk it into the end zone.
That's going to be a handoff to Pedrini. He's not going to get much. Tried to bounce it to the outside on that play, and going to lose one, in fact. So question is whether Borelli is hurt. Looks like he's walking on the sideline, so probably trying to give him a little bit of a breather. But 2nd and 11 for the Jumbos and Jacob Carroll. Carroll, quick drop, and too far for Armstrong. I don't know if Armstrong didn't get in his jump or that was just a bad pass by Carroll. I'm leaning towards the latter.
Yeah, you know, Carroll had a lot of time back there to just pretty much give it to O.J. Armstrong and just not able to make that throw. That's a throw that you definitely got to be able to make. And Carroll's going to stay on the field here for 3rd down. They've got 11 to go, so we'll see what he decides to do. We could look for a big play here. Bowdoin's definitely going to have to see that and limit it.
Giving Roche a lot of leeway here. Going to fire to the right side, and caught for the 1st down is Brendan Dolan. He's going to break a tackle and get more. Big reception there for Dolan. Looked like he had about 12. Probably going to be around 25 on that one.
And the big man on the outside, Brendan Dolan, making a nice move to shake his man. Great read there from Carroll, seeing that he could beat him.
And one of the keys that I don't know if you got the chance to point it out was the big plays for the Jumbos and how Bowdoin needs to limit that. That's one of their big keys. Going deep here for Dolan again, and too long. That's the 2nd he's missed to Dolan on the day.
And Carroll, again, looking for that big play on the outside. Dolan had his man beat, but Carroll just overthrowing it, just out of the reach of Dolan. And yeah, as I said before, Tufts is, again, looking for that big play on 1st down, you know, taking a shot downfield after he had his man beat. Definitely the wise thing and the right read there from Jacob Carroll. So we'll see what he decides to do here.
Dolan was 3 for 45 last week, and there's going to be a flag on the play. Looks like it's going to be a false start on the Jumbos, so going to walk him back 5 yards. That's going to be the 2nd penalty on Khalif Jeter. False start for the Jumbo left tackle, so going to move it back to the 49 of Bowdoin.
So now at 2nd and 15, we'll see what Carroll decides to do. We'll see what Coach Savetti decides to draw up for these Jumbos. The run's been working. We'll see what they go with here.
Deep drop here for Carroll. Going to fire it out to a wide open O.J. Armstrong. He's going to catch it for the touchdown. 49 yards to Armstrong. He connects on that one.
And an absolutely beautiful throw there from Jacob Carroll. He had a man right in his face, throwing it up, trusting his man Armstrong to make that catch. He grabs it and walks right into the end zone. A touchdown from the Jumbos. And now Al Swanger will be on for the extra point.
Al Swanger 8 from 9 on PATs this season. Won Special Teamer of the Week after his performance against Bates, where he hit 4 of 4 extra points. And we'll see if he can make it a 7-0 game here. Ball is spotted up, and the kick is good. So 7-0 for the Jumbos on probably the most wide open touchdown I have seen in a while.
And it definitely seemed like a blown coverage there from the Polar Bears. Armstrong wide open on that outside. Maybe they were playing zone. It didn't really look like it, though. You had other guys on man-to-man, no safety help on that side of the field. You know, you're thinking if the offensive line crumbles just a half a second earlier, that play falls for a sack. But Carroll able to keep his composure, finding his man Armstrong, throwing up a prayer. Armstrong reeling it in and waltzing right in to the end zone for a Jumbo 6. Al Swanger making that 7 with his boot. And now the Jumbos will kick off with a lot of momentum here in the 2nd quarter. 13:41 to go. And Al Swanger set to kick it off.
Yeah, fun fact about that touchdown, actually beat O.J. Armstrong's long of the season, 48, by 1 yard. So 49, congratulations to him on a new high for the season, and a little bit of a squib kick here. Going to be picked up by number 25, Brendan Ward. And a little bit of lateral movement there, but ultimately not going to go for much as they're going to mark him out at the 25-yard line. One thing that we always have to mention on kickoffs is that if, due to safety rules in the NCAA, if you fair catch anywhere within the 25, you automatically get it to the 25. So trying to reduce those concussions and other injuries on kickoffs, which, of course, are the most dangerous plays in football.
Exactly. You know, when you got two guys running full speed at each other, it's going to be a lot of big hits, and you definitely want to see those injuries reduced. You know, they do call it a student athlete for a reason. They're here to learn, but also here to play football.
Back to pass is Marcantino. He's going to fire it. Wide open is Brendan Ward, and he's going to be brought down eventually by Maggetto at the 34. So answering right back with the big play of their own is the Bowdoin offense.
And last week we had a couple of blown coverages from Miles Shipp, but that one looked like he torched Jones there on the outside. And nicely done by Maggetto, making sure that one didn't go for much longer than that, getting in there on the tackle.
41-yard pass from Marcantino to Brendan Ward. 1st and 10 on the 34 of the Jumbos. Out in the pistol is Marcantino and Ward. Getting a lot of run. They're going to put Risham O'Doy in motion. He's going to lose 2 yards. Good tackle there by Tyler Scales.
And a beautiful tackle there from Tyler Scales, taking on one of the more elusive running backs in the league. Risham O'Doy not exactly able to turn the corner there. Had one man to beat, and nicely done the one-on-one there from Tyler Scales. Just getting in there, wrapping him up and bringing him down for a loss of 2 rather than potentially a gain of 10 or more. He had a lot of open field right in front of him, but bringing him down, and nicely done by the Jumbos.
Now they're going to put Ward in the slot to the far side, Risham O'Doy in the backfield, and that's going to be a low throw that is caught by Israelski.
And well done by Israelski, getting out there right along the 5, running a great route, able to beat his man and take that one down. It'll be 3rd and 5 for the Bowdoin Polar Bears here with 11:50 to go in the second quarter. They'll talk this one over. Got a lot of time on the play clock as Matthew Marcantino set back.
Yeah, this is going to be pretty big for Bowdoin to see if they can get points after that big play. They don't usually get those through the air. That's going to be in the flat and too high by Marcantino, throwing off his back foot. That probably would have been a first down, but instead it's a 4th down on the 30-yard line. So that would be a 47-yard field goal for Michael Chen, which does not seem super feasible. So they're going to leave the offense on the field, clearly trying to capitalize on this big play, which they usually don't get.
And Marcantino trying to get it out to his man in the flat, but it looked like the pressure from the Jumbos got to him just a little bit much. A nice blitz there from the Jumbos defense, but still staying disciplined, staying with their men, making sure Marcantino didn't have any wide open guys for a big play. Now 4th and 6, you definitely got to limit the big play here, as it would probably lead to a touchdown.
2 seconds, 1 on the play clock, and that is going to be Bowdoin's 3rd timeout with just 11:26 to go in the second quarter. So Coach B.J. Hammer, amazing name, by the way, is going to elect to use all of his timeouts before we even get near the end of the first half.
And it seems like it's a testament to what this Bowdoin Polar Bears team has shown. Not a super disciplined team, forcing their coach to call timeouts and making sure that they're ready to go and all on the same page at the same time. Tufts hasn't called any timeouts yet. They've still got 3, and this defense seems to go back on the field, ready to defend. Just one more play from Marcantino, and flip this field, look for another 7 before the half.
Yeah, it seems like to me, B.J. Hammer, of course, in his first year with the Polar Bears, seems like he's a little early to pull the trigger on some of these timeouts. And I understand some of the defensive situations, but each time he called a timeout, Jumbos came away with 0 points, yes. But if you have a 2-minute, 5-minute drill situation, you're not going to have that weapon in your back pocket. 4th down and 7 for the Polar Bears offense. They're going to put Israelski in motion to the far side. Deep drop there. Goes to Risham O'Doy in the flat. He's going to break 1 tackle and be run out of bounds, and that's going to be a turnover on downs for the Jumbo defense.
And as you said, it'll definitely be interesting to see what Coach B.J. Hammer is going to be dealing with. This is a team that primarily moves the ball on the ground, so those timeouts can definitely be costly, as you see. Now you've got a lot of field to go if you get the ball back, and no timeouts left, so you're going to see a lot of lateral movement within the runs, or you're going to put a lot of pressure on Marcantino, try to pass this ball through the Jumbo defense.
Jacob Carroll back in for the Jumbos. Borelli takes the handoff, breaks the tackle, and is not able to get out of the second. Loses a yard there, but could have been a lot more. Great balance by Borelli to stay up after a pretty decent-sized hit.
And trying to spin out of a tackle there. No hole for him there, though, created by the Jumbo offensive line, so we'll see what the Jumbos decide to go with. The offensive line has played significantly better on these last 2 drives, but really, Carroll making a great play there with a man in his face to help him out.
So far, Borelli is 7 for 37 on the day. Carroll back to pass deep, and that is a wide-open Frank Roche. He's going to be brought down at the 29-yard line.
So we've spoken a little bit about the Jumbo secondary and how they've gotten burned a little bit, but right now you're seeing Bowdoin getting burned all over the field. That was Frank Roche, wide open in the middle on a nice go route. And a beautiful throw by Jacob Carroll to put it right into his hands. They've got to limit the big play if they want any chance here.
Yeah, Matthew Williams getting torched there by Frank Roche, graduate student and leading receiver for the Jumbos. Carroll back to pass again, eludes a rusher and throws out of bounds in the direction of Roche. Roche, of course, leading the NESCAC with yards per reception, 24 yards per catch.
And that's just an outstanding number. It really is a testament to how much this Jumbo offense has really gone for big plays. And Jacob Carroll doing a nice job there, trying to get out of the pocket and throw that one out of bounds with 2 men on him. Again, the Jumbo pocket crumbling and Carroll trying to make something out of nothing, but astutely observing he had no men open and putting it right out of bounds.
Yeah, see, I wish they showed more stats on the website as Borelli rushes for around no gain, kind of rings around the rosy there as he is stopped for a loss of 1. But one of the things I'd like to see is the yards per attempt targeting to Roche, because that's yards per reception is good, but yards per attempt is often one of the biggest measures of a wide receiver's success. Of course, you know, how many yards do you get when you throw to this guy? And I'm sure Roche would be very high up, maybe close to that 24 mark that he has now. Empty backfield for Carroll on 3rd and 11. Quick drop here, looking in the pocket, finding time, and that's going to be too high for Roche. Well covered on the play by Soren Birkland.
And a lot of time there from Carroll, the offensive line doing a great job giving him a stable pocket, but not a great play there from the Jumbos, not really getting a ton of space there. Not a great window for Jacob Carroll to put the ball in, but he tried to force it to Roche. Looks like the offense may be coming off the field.
Yeah, they're
going to stay out there for 4th and 10 on the Bowdoin 29, it looks like.
Yeah, don't really want Allswanger attempting 47-yarders here. Deep drop for Carroll. He's going to fire it to Frank Roche, and that is off his hands, but that's going to be a flag and possibly pass interference.
And yeah, that was definitely a great call there by the officials. O.J. Armstrong definitely got bumped there. Almost reeled it in nonetheless, but definitely bumped from behind, possibly from the safety coming over. And it'll set up a nice first down for the Jumbos. 1st and 10 on the Bowdoin 14 is where they mark the penalty.
They're going to call that pass interference on Soren Birkland, the junior out of Minneapolis, Minnesota.
And definitely the right call there. I wish we had some replay to show you, but a clear bump in the back and the guy coming across, definitely too much contact there before the ball got there.
So the Jumbos get a break. Of course, big play being useful for them all day, and now they're going to be on the 15. Carroll running out, trying to avoid a rusher. He's going to run himself and get out of bounds at around the 9-yard line. So good gain on first down for the Jumbos. You can see exactly where they mark it.
And well done by Carroll there, seeing that the Polar Bears lost their contain and using his wheels to get to the outside, turn the corner, and get upfield. So a nice gain of 5 there on first down. They'll be on the Polar Bear 10 with 2nd down and 5 to go.
Borelli out there again. It looks like he has become the feature back, of course, replacing Pedrini. And Borelli, nice jump cut, and he's going to run in for an easy touchdown. Dom Borelli, in his 5th year with the Jumbos, has regained the starting job, and it's easy to see why. Amazing cut, and that's going to be 13-0 with the extra point on the way.
And another beautiful hole there created between Mark Mulvaney and Nick Kranjak. And just getting through there nicely. A nice jump cut, of course, to cut right into the open space. Could have gone for significantly more if the goal line wasn't right there, but of course all you need is that 6. And he gets in there. We'll have Allswanger on for the kick.
Allswanger is 1 of 1 on the day, and that's going to be a flag. Not sure which side it was on, but if it's on the opposing side there on Bowdoin, could be interesting 2-point dynamics in play. And have not announced a call yet. Looks like the referee is going to confer with his other colleagues over there. Allswanger's a little confused. John Andre putting his hands up. What's going on? And Allswanger trying to get an explanation here from the officials. And that's going to be offsides on Bowdoin. So I don't know if Jay Savetti's going to try it, but you could go for a 2-point conversion. I think that puts you on the 1, right?
Right.
So they're not going to, well, it looks like they're just going to keep it from the same distance, probably to give Allswanger a little bit more room to make the kick.
And now Allswanger on for the kick again, kicking 55-yarders in warm-ups, but missing a key one last week, so hopefully he can drill this one right through.
Ball is spotted up, and it is good. So 14-0 for the Tufts University Jumbos over the winless Bowdoin Polar Bears. And this is what you wanted to see out of them, at taking advantage of the big plays that they've had in recent weeks, which has been really kind of the only success the Jumbos have had. And Carroll throwing a good deep ball, even though he's missed a couple.
Exactly, and it looks like Tufts has finally been able to get the ball rolling. You have Carroll hitting his guys or getting the pass interference calls that his receiver, O.J. Armstrong, really deserved on that play. You've got Borelli jump cutting all over the field. Tufts has been able to run the ball in this game, something that they haven't really been able to do in weeks past. Pedrini hasn't been great, and Pedrini now looks like he's given his feature back roll up to his man, Dom Borelli. So we'll see what the defense is able to do once they get back onto the field after this kick from Allswanger.
Yeah, the Jumbos, not great on offense last week, but really one of the only players who was Dom Borelli, 14 for 55. Now he's got a touchdown on the day. That's going to be deep for Ward. He's going to knee it, bring it out to the 25.
And a little bit of extracurricular activity on the near sideline between Tufts' James Dillon and a Bowdoin Polar Bear defender. So we'll see. Hopefully not too much extracurricular activity percolates throughout the rest of the team as Bowdoin marches back onto the field.
Yeah, crowds really started to fill in too. You don't really see a ton of Tufts students going to these games besides, the parents and people involved, but homecoming, of course, big day for everyone in the community, as Mark Hanno is going to take it himself for about a gain of 1, but really starting to fill in. You even have people out by the field house over there, standing, not even sitting down. There's a lot of seats over here. I don't know why they don't just, take the left section, but hey, it's their choice, I guess.
Exactly, and the goal is to fill around the whole stadium, make sure that the Bowdoin offense is disrupted, and your own offense feels the crowd behind you and fuels them with energy.
Well, at any rate, it's 2nd and 9. Of course, a beautiful day here in Medford. Back to pass, long drop. He's going to throw deep, and that's going to be overthrown to Gregory Olson, covered by a new starter here, Jonathan O'Neill, the sophomore from California. Of course, he is replacing the usual starter there at safety in Robert Jones, who is on the disabled list, so to speak, and it looks like there's an injury already for the Bowdoin Polar Bears. Not sure who it is. It looks like an offensive lineman, but hopefully he's okay. Checking up on him over there.
And definitely not what you want to see. On that last play, you saw Bowdoin giving their quarterback Marcantano a lot of time in the pocket, able to create that open play, trying to take a shot downfield, and it looks like it's Marcantano down, actually. So we could see Austin McCrum headed back into this one, or if McCrum isn't able to go, we'll see a new quarterback for the Polar Bears, or they could opt to go with their Wildcat set with Nate Reacham-Odoy sitting back there for them. They didn't have a ton of success with the Wildcat before, but we see McCrum coming on for the Polar Bears.
Now, Austin McCrum, of course, a wonderful name so far, but hasn't really had that great of a season. 52% completion percentage, 2 touchdowns on the year, and supposedly benched for Marcantano. And that's going to be caught by Israelski and brought down by Stephen Timmons and Tom Baker on the play.
And McCrum, the 6'5", 229-pound junior for the Bowdoin Polar Bears, unable to connect for a first down there. Now, the punting unit will march back onto the field for the Polar Bears in what is another 3-and-out. Yep.
Now on the 26-yard line, Michael Chen back for his 5th punt of the day, 36.5 average. He's going to boot it. High kick there. Going to be fair caught at the 32-yard line by Dom Borelli. A little mad at himself he couldn't return that. But Jumbo's in good field position to start maybe another scoring drive with 7:09 left to go on the clock. All 3 timeouts for head coach Jay Savetti. And we're going to see Jacob Carroll coming on. So, it seemed when they were struggling, they were trying to use Trevon Woodson a little bit more, but clearly Carroll having himself a good day. 4 for 11, not great on completion, but 125 and a touchdown, and of course a couple of drops. And he's going to be escaping a sack and throwing out to the back of the defensive back, Tyreek Jones-Garland, the freshman starter, which is pretty interesting on the outside. But even though it was incomplete, still great on Jacob Carroll to avoid that sack.
Absolutely.
Got around his ankle, and now Trevon Woodson's going to come in.
And it was Pedrini that completely whiffed on his block. Carroll shedding it nicely, though. Pedrini tried to get back. Could have maybe been called for a hold, but definitely the right call on the no call. Woodson now.
Woodson in a fake play action. O.J. Armstrong in the slot. Try to make a man miss and get out to the 39-yard line. Good gain on 2nd down for the Jumbos. Of course, the wide receiver screen to Armstrong is probably one of their most preferred plays. Really shifty slot receiver out there. And you saw his speed on the earlier touchdown. 3rd down and 3. Yeah, 3rd and 3. That's going to be a run to Pedrini, and he's going to pick up the first down. 47-yard line goes the junior running back.
And nicely done there by Pedrini, really getting in there, bowling over the defense and moving the chains for the Jumbos.
Yeah, this is a game where you can really try to get Pedrini going. Play action again, going to pass quick out there for Roche. He's going to get around 7.
And the Jumbos have gone to the hurry-up offense here. Woodson telling them to hurry up, wanting them to go, get as many yards as you possibly can. It looks like Coach Savetti's going to be aggressive and trying to get 2 scores on before the beginning of the second half.
Pedrini going to take the handoff, and he is going to be close to the first down. Don't know if they'll give it to him. Maybe a 3rd and 1 type situation, but the Jumbos, who have been gashing them on the ground all day, are certainly going to try to run here, you'd think. So they bring in the big bodies here, Winton Blunt, Jack Donahue, and not sure who 82 is. They're not listed on here, but Pedrini going to run up the whole big opening here for the junior, and he's going to pick up the first down. So it looks like the big plays and just the general running is working really well for the Jumbos, and Bowdoin really can't do anything to stop it.
And now Woodson's going to stay on the field for the Jumbos, trying to start some offense.
4 wide receivers out in a diamond formation. Empty backfield. Woodson going to evade 1 rusher and get out to the 38-yard line. And it looks like there might be a fumble.
but a beautiful job by Woodson trying to escape the pocket.
Bowdoin just picked up the fumble. Woodson fumbled on the carry, and it's going to be Bowdoin ball.
And you need to protect the football. We said that Carroll needed to make sure there were no interceptions going on, but Woodson's got to keep that one away. You know, he had a nice play there, escaping the pocket. But he's got to protect that football, keep it nice and into his body as he brings it down to the ground. But Bowdoin able to rip that one away, and a huge momentum shifter. We'll see what the Polar Bears can do here with that, as it looks like it'll be McCrum back out on the field. No, it'll be Marcantano back on the field for the Polar Bears. Not too shaken up, but it looks like he's wearing a brace on his knee now.
Good eye there, Sam, and they're going to hand off to Risham O'Doy for the carry, and going to get around to the 48-yard line. So good run on first down for Risham O'Doy.
And Risham O'Doy finally trying to get through that Jumbo's offense, finally picking up some sort of a gain. It's now 2nd and 5 for the Polar Bears. But as we said earlier, this team has no more timeouts, and a team that mostly puts the ball up the field on the ground is going to have some trouble here.
Yeah, Marcano's going to have to do it with his arm. He elects not to. Hands off to Risham O'Doy, who's going to pick up 3 on the carry, make it a 3rd and 1 situation. Have to get to the 48. But going back to that fumble, that is the 4th fumble. Tufts taking a timeout, so they'll give us a little bit more time to talk about this big weakness for the Jumbo team. It's really hurt them this year, the turnovers. They've thrown 7 interceptions and now 4 fumbles, while only making 3 turnovers of their own. So that's going to bring their turnover margin on the season to -8, which is worse than NESCAC. And anytime you're worst in a conference in turnovers, you're probably not making the playoffs.
Exactly. So this Tufts team is eliminated, and the turnovers, protecting the ball, it's been a paramount focus of this team, and something that they just haven't been able to do. They haven't been able to protect the football, practically giving it away. Woodson, all he had to do there was slide. Plenty of time left on the clock, not a ton of field left to go, not smart, and not protecting the football. He's definitely got to do a better job of that. And this Tufts team, they've got to force a turnover here now if they want to put points on the board, knowing that the Polar Bears are going to try to run the ball through here on the 3rd and 1 situation.
Stack box here for the Jumbos, 3rd and 1. They're going to hand off to Risham O'Doy, and he is going to easily muscle his way down, gets a few extra yards after contact, down to the 49-yard line. So that's a 1st down for the Polar Bears. Haven't said that a lot today. In fact, that's only their 2nd. The first coming on that pass play to Ward a couple of minutes ago.
And Risham O'Doy with 4.6 yards per carry on the season. Probably has a little bit less than that in today's game, but a nice pickup there from him.
That's going to be batted down by, I believe, Connor Chepnick. Was that? I just want to give credit where credit is due. I actually think that was Uzochi Apara, the sophomore defensive lineman. So good for him to get the PBU on the stat sheet. Of course, Connor Chepnick, I think, had a pass breakup last week of his own.
And nicely done there, getting his hands up, making it just that much harder for the quarterback, Marcantano there.
2nd down and 10 on the 49. Marcantano is going to have to escape the rush. And that's going to be almost picked off by Brandon Jones. That would have been a touchdown. Right off his hands. Terrible read by Marcantano. Intended for Gregory Olson, but that was a surefire pick 6 dropped by Brandon Jones.
And just the slightest bit of disconnect there between Brandon Jones' eyes and his hands. It looked like he saw all that field in front of him and took his eye off the ball for just a half a second and just slips out of his hands. It would have been his 2nd career interception. An interception in back-to-back weeks would have been huge, and a ton of field in front of him. All he saw was the end zone, and the ball slipped right away. But as you said, that would have been 6 for him right there.
Well, he's going to have to rebound here. Been playing a pretty decent game so far. 3rd and 10, and that's going to be good pressure there, and absolutely destroyed on the play was Nate Risham O'Doy. I think that was Stephen Timmons hitting the truck stick right into his chest. Had no chance of completing that one. Surprised he didn't sink into the earth.
And a big
Gosh.
hit. Big hit there from Timmons. Bad read there again from Marcantano. I wouldn't be surprised if McCrum came on the next possession. As I said, Marcantano wearing a brace on his left knee, not exactly moving as well as he was earlier in the game. So we'll see what's going on here from the Polar Bears as they decide to punt it away. 4th and 10 with 3:23 left to go here in the fourth quarter.
Michael Chen,
Sorry,
high
the second
snap
quarter.
for his sixth punt of the day. John Onray going to fair catch it in a wave of white. And the Jumbos are going to have the ball with 3:15 left to play. That would have been big, though, for the Jumbo defense, only forcing 3 turnovers on the year. And you were saying that's one of their big keys is they've got to get more of these swing plays. Almost had one, but still forcing the punt. And the Jumbo offense has looked pretty explosive, so don't count them out to make it 21-0.
So a tough break there from the Jumbos, but not too tough as they're now set back on offense with Carroll behind center.
Carroll on 1st and 10 from the 17. Deep drop for him. He's going deep, and that's going to be caught by Jack Donahue.
And nice read there, right in the middle of the field. Donahue cutting right across, and Carroll finds him, hits him in stride. Donahue reels it in, but unable to shed any tackles as the Jumbos hurry up one more time.
1st and 10 from the 42. Carroll pass protect, good pickup by Borelli. That's going to be caught by Roche. 220-plus plays, back-to-back, and down to the 36 goes the Jumbos. They're wasting no time at all. I think only 25 seconds have gone off the clock.
And another great read there. Roche right on the outside. Not even having to go through his progressions was Carroll, just finding Roche and sending it right to him.
1st and 10 now, Carroll. That's going to find Donahue again, out to the 17-yard line. Donahue has 3 catches on the year, 2 last week, and now he's got 2 today, making it 5. I think he's already doubled his season average in yards today.
And they run
So
the
good
clock
for him.
after setting the ball. Another great find there by Carroll, finding Donahue in stride.
Going to motion Roche out, fire it into the end zone for him, and it's a little too long by Carroll. Had a little bit of pressure at the end from number 9, the freshman linebacker, Brendan King, and he's going to limp a little bit as he goes back to the line of scrimmage. So 2nd and 10 on the 17 for the Jumbos offense. But they're just having, I mean, the corners for Bowdoin are A, getting really no help, and B, just getting toasted every play.
Yeah, and Carroll trying to put that ball where no one was. The corner had nice coverage there.
And that's going to be a little bit of touching, and that's a touchdown for O.J. Armstrong, his 2nd of the day. Had hands all over him, still looked back, recovered, and made the catch. And now it's 20-0 for the Jumbos. I can't tell you how amazing it is that O.J. Armstrong was able to fight through all that contact. That's what you like to see from Jumbo's receivers. And now Allswanger on for the extra point.
And O.J. Armstrong, one of the smaller receivers here for Tufts, just going up, and Carroll putting it right where his defender couldn't catch it, but where Armstrong could.
I mean, my surprise comes from the fact that there was just so much contact. I thought there could have been a flag as the ball is spotted up and good. 21-0 for Tufts University on homecoming day. 2:11 left to go in the second quarter. This is what we've wanted to see from Tufts all year, and finally taking advantage of a weak opponent, as we see in the Bowdoin Polar Bears.
Exactly, and Tufts, an extraordinarily well-coached team. They're running this no-huddle offense with ease. We haven't really seen a ton of dead plays here from the Jumbos. Nicely done there by Armstrong, going up and getting that ball. Carroll put it exactly where Armstrong wanted it and bringing it down despite all the contact. But again, as you said, Tufts running this offense with extraordinary efficiency.
Yeah, Bowdoin has not shown any ability to cover the Jumbos at all today, as Allswanger is back for the kickoff. And one thing I want to point out is giving up points is not really too foreign to this Polar Bears defense. So far this year, they've lost to Hamilton 37-24, Trinity 61-7, Williams 41-10. Close game with Wesleyan 20-13 as that ball bounds out of the end zone for a touchback. and 36-14 against Amherst last week. And notable about that Amherst game, they did not score until the fourth quarter when they went down. They were down 31-0 to the Mammoths. So just all around a rough season for Bowdoin, and a rough season under first-year head coach B.J. Hammer, who, as we noted before, he was the former head coach of Allegheny College in Pennsylvania, collected a 10-11 record over 2 seasons, improved them from 1 to 29, but he makes his calling card on defense, so this is hard to watch for him, I assume. And that's going to be a run by Risham O'Doy for about 5 yards. Tufts is going to take a timeout. Of course, Bowdoin probably just trying to get to the locker rooms here after giving up that touchdown. Tufts saying, hey, we want another shot. You guys can't stop us. Give us the ball again.
Exactly, and Coach Savetti, you're hoping not to get too greedy here, trying to put a couple more points on the board after you give the ball away with Woodson on the fumble. So we'll see what the Tufts defense can do here. Maybe make a stop, get a quick 3 and out, and it'll bring Carroll right back onto the field for another drive. So now Risham O'Doy, it looks like he'll be set back in a Wildcat formation with his quarterback set out wide. That's Mark Cantino on the near sideline.
Good catch being covered by Miles Shipp right now. They're going to motion Ward in. He's going to run to the outside, and that was picked up beautifully by the linebacker, John DeLuca. They were not fooled at all. You think Risham O'Doy is going to throw that pass to Marcantino? No, you're running to the outside, and I'm going to tackle you.
Absolutely, and Miles Shipp sticking with Marcantino beautifully there, making sure he didn't leave his man and pick up Risham O'Doy too quickly because, again, Shipp leaves him, and you've got a man wide open down the sideline, little trick play there, but Tufts picking it up. Linebackers able to penetrate that defensive line and get in there, wrap up Risham O'Doy, and bring him down there.
And I can see what they're trying to do with the Wildcat. The traditional passing today with Marcantino and McCrum, aside from one pass, really, has not looked good at all. But, I mean, they've run the Wildcat 3 times, and I'm pretty sure every single time they've just had Risham O'Doy run to the outside. I mean, you have room for creativity here, and we're not seeing it.
Definitely not seeing it. Not even any sort of read option there from Risham O'Doy here in the Wildcat, kind of just running to the outside, looking for his receivers, but Tufts has done a good job in coverage and definitely run the blitz as well there.
Well, Marcantino in the shotgun now after that play. Going to pass it out in the flat to Risham O'Doy, and he's going to be wrapped up for about a gain of about 2 by, of course, the stalwart Greg Holt. What else can you say about that guy? He 3 straight years, first team All-NESCAC, which, as a freshman, sophomore, junior, last year he was All New England, which, that says a lot about him. Usually paces the NESCAC, top 3 in tackles every year. And as a senior, they're going to miss him next year. He is definitely a force in that defense.
They definitely are going to miss Greg Holt. Without question, Greg Holt has been all over the field for the Tufts defense as his punt lands, takes a little bit of a Bowdoin bounce, and stops at the 25.
Yeah, down to the 25 goes that punt by Michael Chen. He is going to need an ice bath after this one. I think that's his 7th punt in the first half.
And it's really been a testament to how good this Jumbo's defense has been. These linebackers have been all over the field covering Risham O'Doy, and they've had their hands full. Risham O'Doy has definitely tried to create a lot out of nothing, not really getting the holes that he needs from his offensive line, but the linebackers have been shooting the gaps well and getting through to Risham O'Doy, wrapping him up as Jacob Carroll set back under center.
That's going to be play action. Going to have a rusher and fire out to no one in particular. O.J. Armstrong was the closest, around the 45 that pass landed. Incomplete for the Jumbos. 1 minute to go on the game clock here for Tufts and Jacob Carroll.
And Carroll, 8 of 18 now for 208 yards passing. But that doesn't mean they haven't been running. Don Borelli, 9 attempts with 45 yards and a touchdown, averaging 5 yards per carry here in the first half.
Well, Pedrini out to pass protect. Throws it out on the side on the comeback to Brendan Dolan. That's going to move the chains for the Jumbos out to the 36-yard line.
And that's Dolan's second catch of the day. He's got just about 33 yards in this one with Carroll set back to pass one more time.
Carroll, 1st and 10, deep drop, a lot of time, evades the rushers, has a lot of room, past the 50, and he's going to be brought down around the neck by Soren Birkeland, but not before he rushes for a gain of 20. And there's going to be a flag on the play, possibly holding. He had a lot of time there,
but
a big hole.
And a good read there from Carroll. Had a lot of room, a ton of space in the middle with a lot of drop back there from the secondary of Bowdoin.
Yep. 79, that's going to be Travis Sapelia for the Jumbos.
So that'll back the Jumbos up and definitely put a little bit of hurt in this offense that was trying to put up some points. Now just 43 seconds left to go.
And no timeouts. It looks like they used that to stop the clock on that second down play. So 1st and 20 at the 26. Carroll back, has a rusher, evades, fires out, incomplete, intended for Frank Roche, but no one's catching that pass. And it's going to be 2nd down and 20, 31 seconds to go. So that ate up a lot of clock. I'm surprised.
And another unfortunate break there from the Jumbos offensive line. The kind of crumble there. Carroll doing a nice job getting out of it, though, not taking the sack there, because that would really set up a 3rd and super long situation instead of just a 3rd and kind of long situation.
Yeah, Nicholas Leahy and Brendan King have been in the backfield all day. That pass is going to be complete to, I believe it's Roche. Yes, it is. Down to the 43. But more importantly are the numbers on the game clock. 17, 16, 15 seconds to go. And the Jumbos in about, I'd say, a medium hurry. 8 seconds left on the clock. It looks like they're going to go for one quick shot here. Roche, he's got a decent amount of room, but a couple of tacklers there, brought down by Owen Gifford from Idaho. And that is going to be the end of the first half. Probably the best half of football we have seen from the Tufts University Jumbos, going up 21-0 on the Bowdoin Polar Bears. And we will give you all a quick rest to get some snacks, enjoy a 20-minute halftime, maybe watch a bit of the pep band. I don't know what they're doing on the field, but we're going to get something to eat, and we'll be back in 20 minutes with the second half of Bowdoin versus Tufts here at Harold O. Zimmern Field. Welcome, everybody, back to the second half of Bowdoin versus Tufts on Homecoming Day. I'm Trevor Russo, of course, joined by my excellent color commentator, Sam Brill, actually on his first football game ever, so props him for that. Before we get into the takeaways for this game so far that we've seen, it's homecoming, so I figured we'd go around and see how Tufts is doing on this very special day. So, field hockey defeats Conn College 8-0. Good job, field hockey. Football, as you know, up 21-0. Men's soccer, kickoff at 2:30. If you guys want to watch that, that's also on JumboCast. Of course, our great commentators and production will be doing that game. Men's tennis will be playing, looks like they're playing right now. And over on the other field, it looks like women's soccer has ended in a 2-2 tie with Conn College. And also, is women's volleyball playing right now? Oh, wow. Tufts women's volleyball lost to Babson, so undefeated coming into this game. And that's going to be loss number 1 for the Jumbos. They play MIT later as that kick goes out of the end zone for a touchback. So we'll get back to football for you, where the Jumbos are heavily in command. 1st and 10 for the Polar Bears. Roll out and almost intercepted by Brandon Jones. Israelski was absolutely railed on that play. Incomplete. Brandon Jones really wants an interception today, I gotta say.
That one missing him also.
All right, so I guess we can get into some takeaways for the first half when Sam gets back. But for now, it is 2nd and 10 on the 25-yard line. That's a drop by Israelski, so that's 2 targets, 2 incompletions for the slot receiver. Marcantano not being helped by his receivers today. That's something we'll get into.
So Jones there trying to get in, and he had a ball slip right through his hands before, and that time really trying to get in there and make a play. So now we've got Marcantano back for the Bowdoin Polar Bears one more time. Bowdoin hasn't really been able to get anything in the air so far in this game.
Well, they really haven't at all in the season, as that passes across the middle and a first down via the air. That's going to be down to the 38-yard line. Pass caught by the sophomore running back Brendan Ward. And his second big pass of the day.
It seems like I may have jinxed the Jumbo defense just a little bit. Marcantano had that one play in the first half where they got 41 yards, but those accounting for significantly more than half of the passing yards from this Bowdoin offense in the entire game. Definitely need to get things rolling.
Yeah, we're going to have to shut your mic off again if you jinx him one more time, as that's going to be a play action to number 15, Gregory Olson, as he's going to muscle his way for a first down. And ball almost coming out there. Brandon Jones really wanting a turnover. Had his hands on that one, but of course, Olson was down. So 2 first downs, passing offense for the Polar Bears, getting a little warm here.
And Olson using all of his 6'3", 229-pound frame there to use his body and muscle his way to a first down, just willing it across the chains.
So 1st down and 10 on the 47 as Risha Modoy grinds his way for about 5. So 2nd and 5 on the 32-yard line for the Polar Bears. And so while we have you back, Sam, we might as well get into the takeaways that we saw from the first half. So for Tufts, what did you see them do well on offense and defense to pitch a shutout and put up 21 points?
So they've really been getting on those big plays that we talked about that Bowdoin needed to limit. You know, you've got those 40-plus yard passes to Roche and Armstrong, creating big plays, making those touchdowns.
As fake play action there, and that's going to be incomplete, intended for Max Friedman, the freshman wide receiver from Marblehead, Mass.
And Jones jumping over his back to deflect that one. Great play from Jones. It's one of the things that's really limited this Bowdoin passing so far. One of the reasons why they don't have a ton of passing yards, but not able to get it done is Risham Odoi. He hasn't really been heating up super well, aside from that rush we saw earlier on this drive.
So 3rd down and 5 for the Polar Bears. Deep drop here for Marcantano. Reception to Ward, and he's going to get outside for the 1st down. Had a chance to knock him out of bounds, but did not do so. Eventually pushed by Brandon Jones, and that's going to move the chains again already. I think that's 3 first downs in this drive.
I think that might triple their first half total, to be completely honest.
Well, actually, that's over 150% there. They had 2 first downs in the first half, and they have 3 already today.
And an impressive turn the corner there from the Bowdoin wide receiver, able to make sure he got upfield to move those chains.
Risham Odoi with the handoff, and he's going to be brought down from behind. That is, of course, Uzochi Apara. I had to double check myself on that one, but he didn't double check. He just went for the edge, and that's a tackle for loss. Good play for him, and that's going to be Risham Odoi holding his right hamstring and then his right foreleg.
Yeah,
and now he's in pain. Yeah, he's having trouble getting up here. Trainers are going to come out for the Polar Bears.
Definitely not something you want to see here. He may just be asking for a hand to help himself get up, because you know he's a fighter. He wants to stay in this game, but not even able to put any weight on that leg initially. He's holding it up in the air somehow, some way. That's a hamstring injury. That's got to be extraordinarily painful to keep that leg up. Yeah. May have fallen on it. I didn't exactly see what happened on the play. We're going to try to go for a replay now.
Well, not going to be able to get the replay for you, but it looks like he's being helped off by his teammates Franny Rose and Nicholas Leahy, who I might say has been in the Jumbo's backfield a significant amount today. And that's going to be a big loss. So Ward is going to have to handle the tailback duties, and he is going to be shoved back for a loss. Nananadovic, looks like Tom Baker, Quinn Fay, the entire Jumbo D-line just pouncing on that. And it's going to be 3rd and 10, 3rd and 11 actually, for the Polar Bears on the Jumbo 34-yard line, trying to get on the scoreboard today. 11:47 left to go in the second half. Third quarter.
Bowdoin had been passing pretty well at the beginning of this drive, but opting to go with the run there, and Tufts just stuffing the middle, playing well. Now Marcantano back.
Deep drop for him. That's going to be incomplete. Good breakup there by the sophomore Jonathan O'Neill, who's played pretty well in the absence of Robert Jones. And it looks like they're going to keep their offense out onto the field. Of course, down 21-0. Not really anything else you can do besides go for it on 4th and 11.
Exactly, and you know, you're running the ball quite a bit. They had a little bit of success earlier in the drive passing, but their primary offense has been on the ground, and with not a ton of time left, again, you only get 3 timeouts. So definitely the smart decision here from Coach Armstrong, rather from Coach Hammer, to go for it.
Deep drop here, a lot of pressure, and a lot of contact there by Miles Shipp on Gregory Olson, but they're not going to call a flag. Keep their whistles in the pocket, and that's going to be a turnover on down. So ultimately, you know, Miles Shipp didn't get called for the flag. Did you think that was enough to warrant pass interference?
No, so you saw Shipp running right with him, right behind him, and he turned around and tried to make a play on the ball. And, you know, that's one of the more important things with that pass interference call. Wasn't exactly hand fighting with him, so good coverage there from Shipp. Definitely got away with a little bit of contact, but a great no call.
Quick turn here from Carroll, and that's going to be complete to Armstrong. Oh, he's got a lot of room. He could break this one. No one in front of him. O.J. Armstrong, his 3rd touchdown of the day. Absolutely showing out against this Bowdoin defense.
And a beautiful catch there from O.J. Armstrong. Great play there from Jacob Carroll, finding him right there. And just absolutely beautiful play. O.J. Armstrong able to turn the corner, get around his defenders, and just go. He just went, kept running. Once it was a foot race, there was no stopping him. O.J. Armstrong just kept going. Absolutely beautiful play.
And on for the extra point is going to be Alswanger. That is a 27-0 score right now. I apologize if anyone was listening to this on headphones.
And a great play there from Armstrong. It looked like the safety bit just a little bit too early, not able to catch up with Armstrong once he torched his man. Now we've got Allswanger on the lefty kicker looking to put this one right through the uprights one more time.
Would be his 4th extra point of the day, mind you, and that one is spotted up, and it is good. So 4 for 4 is Allswanger, and 3 is the number of touchdowns that O.J. Armstrong has on the day. An absolutely dominant performance by the junior wideout.
We've got the replay right here, and you see Carroll put it right into Armstrong's hands. Armstrong turned the corner, and once he was there, a foot race, ran right past the safety. The safety took a pretty bad angle at that one. But Armstrong, you know, his speed, they say speed kills, and killing it right into the end zone was Armstrong. Tufts takes a 28-0 lead here, their first score in the half, 11:03 to go in the third quarter.
And that is going to be, let's get you O.J. Armstrong stats on the day. 6 receptions, 142 yards, 24 yards per catch average, 66 long. That was the touchdown you just saw. And, of course, the 3 on the day.
So we go back to the keys of the game. For Bowdoin, it was limiting the big plays. We've got 3 of them here for Tufts. 3 of 40-plus, and that 66-yarder there from O.J. Armstrong. They're not doing it. They're really not giving themselves a chance to stay in this one. Tufts trying to shift all the momentum.
And Ward's going to take it out himself. Going to get down to the 22-yard line. Of course, kneeing that down, he would have gotten a couple more. I don't know if he saw something on that kick coverage, but anyways, still all right field position for the Bowdoin Polar Bears, down 28, and they are unfortunately a rushing offense, you know, that is not designed to get big plays through the air. They've got undersized receivers who are good at catching the ball, but you know, not much of the yards after the catch variety. So it's going to be an absolute mountain to climb for the Bowdoin Polar Bears here, as Marcantano is going to have to do it with his arm. And they're going to hand, oh no, that's play action, and that throw is wide, and they're going to call a flag, probably pass interference on Miles Shipp.
And Olsen there, trying to make a play, but unable to do so. Is a little bit of hand action, but as you said, you know, you've got these little bit smaller Bowdoin receivers between Israelski, Olsen, a big body, but they're using a tight end as a wide receiver, not a ton of speed, not really a guy that you can send on a go route against the quick guy like Shipp or Brandon Jones.
All right, so they're going to call pass interference on Miles Shipp. You know, he's a guy who plays with a lot of contact. Of course, one of the things we talked about was how he would do today after a pretty disappointing game last week against Wesleyan, where he gave up 2 touchdowns, including the game winner. And that's going to be almost picked. And I think that was caught by the O-lineman.
Maybe, yeah, it looked like that one was caught by Bowdoin. A little bit of strange play, but that one batted up into the air as we've got, it looks like Nenadovic limping off. Nenadovic, that could really hurt Tufts, especially in the home stretch of the season. He's been huge for them. Double-digit tackles in a couple of games.
Yeah.
He's been great for them so far in this one.
Nenadovic, of course, on the day. He's got 2 tackles, 1 tackle for loss. Does not have a sack just yet. The only sack, of course, was Tom Baker back in the second quarter, I believe. So 2nd and 10 from the 32-yard line for the Polar Bears. Quick drop and catch to Gregory Olsen. Going to be around 6 yards there, so
and it seems
actually going to be second and 3.
It seems like they're trying to use all of Olsen's frames really now to create some first downs as Nenadovic waltzes back onto the field, jumps up a couple times. He's really, looks like he's testing out an ankle injury, but he'll come back on the field for 3rd down here. A real gritty player for the Tufts Jumbos. Nenadovic, possibly the potential to be a future captain of this team. Now Marcantano.
He's going to drop back, going to be under duress. DeLuca misses him. He's going to try to run, and he's going to get the first down, and actually almost put himself out of the first down range. Crossed the first down marker back again, but we have a flag on the play.
And it looks like 2 officials saw the same thing. I missed it just a little bit, but we'll see what the call is here.
Well, the line judge is gesturing to the flag. Illegal block in the back on Brendan Ward. That's going to move him back on 3rd down.
And that's a killer right there. You know, you had 3rd and 3. You pick up the 1st down just to be backed up to a 3rd and long, 3rd and 13 now for the Bowdoin Polar Bears. Just when they thought they had something going on offense, it's snatched right out of their mouths. And now they'll need to create something presumably through the air here.
Yeah, 3rd and 11. It looks like they're going to spot that block in the back somewhere behind the line of scrimmage marker from before. So Marcantano, deep drop, a lot of time, high arcing ball, and that is going to be almost picked off. So close was the defensive back Jonathan O'Neal. Brandon Jones with, I believe, his 4th pass breakup of the day.
And Brandon Jones is having himself a day. You know, he's getting in there. He tips that ball up. A much bigger receiver there in, sorry, that was Gregory Olson. But Brandon Jones getting in there, tipping that ball up, trying to make sure one of his guys around him can make a play. Great job by Jones and the Tufts secondary to limit the big play there to Olson.
Yeah, see, that's the difference between this Tufts offense and this Bowdoin offense, as Dom Borelli is content to let this one roll out. Going to be picked up by number 33, Nat Deacon, the senior defensive lineman. But, you know, you've been watching Tufts receivers just with yards of separation on these Polar Bear defensive backs, and yet you have a deep ball there, and 2 to 3 people are around Olson on that play, and that's been the difference in this ball game, really.
Right, and surprisingly, we see Woodson back in this game, giving Carroll a little bit of a rest, but I guess it makes a little bit of sense up 28-0. Of course, a lot of time left on the clock.
And, of course, Woodson being sort of the presumed future, and he's going to get a lot of room. He's got speed. He's down to the 40-yard line. Trevon Woodson makes a count with that run.
And a great job there from Trevon Woodson at the end of that play to keep the ball tucked into his body. We've got a little bit of hurry-up offense going here, but a great job by Woodson cutting through, making a nice cut to the outside to juke his safety man.
Woodson for 38 yards on that carry. He's going to loft it to a wide-open Brendan Dolan, who falls out of bounds at about the 13. And just like that, you have a 60-yard swing from one side of the field to the other, and the Jumbos are in the red zone.
And another great job by Woodson. Nice read there, finding his man on the outside for the long pass there. And so far, a quick but effective drive here from the Jumbos.
Woodson on 1st and 10, going to hand it off to Pedrini. He's going to make a cut, get down to the 3. He's still pushing. Could he make it in? He's at the 1. So close. A gigantic carry around 12 yards for Pedrini. Nice cut initially.
So we've seen now 3 plays from the Jumbos. First, that strong play from Woodson getting through. Then that long pass on the outside. Bowdoin, again, not limiting the long plays as Woodson has it again.
Hand off to Pedrini, and he is going to get close, and he's in for the touchdown. Mike Pedrini with his first of the day. And it's going to be 34-0. Tufts Jumbos on top. Pedrini, that's going to be, I believe, his 2nd rushing touchdown of the year. He has 3 in total. And we're going to have the extra point here from Allswanger. His leg's been getting a lot of work today.
Now Allswanger set to kick.
Ball is spotted up, and it is good. So Matt Allswanger had 4 against Bates. He's got 5 extra points, perfect on the day. The junior makes it a 5-score game. Well, it already was a 5-score game, but now it's an exact 5-score game for the Tufts Jumbos. And
a great job there at the end of that drive by Pedrini to really show the grit and get across that goal line. We said earlier on the broadcast that Bowdoin has had a tough time stopping the run. You see that long run from Woodson as the pocket broke down. But then you see that long play from Pedrini, you know, really using all of his grit and that determination to push his way, just stopping at the 1, and the play right after that, getting right back up and pushing his way into the end zone. It's something that you haven't really seen a ton of from this Tufts team, showing the grit and determination and being successful with it. And a great job from Pedrini and the Tufts offense there. Woodson leading this team as the future.
And I've just been notified by our statistician for the day that O.J. Armstrong's 3 touchdowns have tied the Tufts record for receiving touchdowns. If he gets one more, he is going to be etched in the annals of Tufts history as the single game receiving touchdown leader. So maybe we'll see a couple more passes out of the flat for Armstrong just to get him that record. Doesn't look like the Bowdoin defensive backs can even keep up with him.
And O.J. Armstrong has really had himself a day. 6 receptions for 142 yards. That's a 23.7 yard per catch average. Again, his 66-yard touchdown being his longest reception.
Marcantino back to pass, and a nice reception there from Max Friedman, reaching out and bringing it to about the 34-yard line. So 2nd and 1 for Bowdoin.
And well done there from Friedman, really hauling that one in. The 5'11", 207-pound wide receiver using all of his frame and all of his experience to lay out for that one and haul it in. Now Marcantino, he's back again.
Marcantino hands off to Ward, who's going to muscle his way for the first down. A 2-yard carry for Brendan Ward. Down to the 36-yard line. 7:27 left to go in this third quarter.
And we don't
remarkably, it's still the third quarter. It feels like the fourth.
It really does. Tufts has really been all over the field so far, and we're about halfway through, so it makes a little bit of sense, but Risham Odoy still feeling the hurt over there on the Bowdoin sideline, not in this game.
Weird fake there. Lofted for Olsen, and they're going to call a flag on the far side of the field here. Wonder if it's going to be called on Jones. It didn't seem like there was a lot of contact there.
Yeah, it looked like Jones may have sort of bumped into him after that one. We'll get a little bit of a replay as the officials make this call.
Yeah, looks like, okay, the mic
holding.
shut off. So they're going to call holding, I believe, on Brandon Jones because he was really the only cornerback in coverage there. So that's going to move the chains a little bit.
So
5-yard penalty, so down to the 46.
It'll be 1st and 10 for the Polar Bears from their own 46-yard line.
So now Polar Bears have a little bit of field, a little bit of hope left after the penalty from Jones. Of course, anything could sway this game, but Tufts seems to be running away with it with the 35-0 lead.
Back to pass is Marcantino, and that's going to be pushed out of bounds by Mugetto is Brendan Ward for a 1-yard catch and run. 2nd and 9 on the 47-yard line.
And Mugetto,
also, I have to say, if Bowdoin, ends up coming back from a 35-0 deficit, I think this would be called the greatest sports game of all time.
It would be certainly incredible. Tufts looks like they've had everything, and Bowdoin really, honestly, like they've had nothing. Only about 5 or 6 first downs in this whole game, and only a couple of those have been due to penalty.
Marcantino, play action, throws out too high for Israelski, had the first down on the out route.
And nicely covered there by Tufts. You saw them shifting over, marking their men nicely, and Israelski unable to come in with it. We'll see if Marcantino can figure something out here, try to move these chains once again in 3rd and long on their own 46. I'm sure Coach BJ Hammer's got to be thinking this is 4-down territory, so you may see a run play before another passing play right here.
Yeah. One of the things I wanted to point out is Marcantino drops back to pass, escapes the rush, and now he's going to be tackled for a 2-yard gain. Of course, now it's 4th down. Greg Holt, who else on the tackle?
Rather, that was Steven Timmons. And a nice job by Timmons coming over and making that tackle, especially considering you've got a pretty elusive quarterback in Marcantano, and Timmons has to come over, leave his man, or rather he was the spy, so not really leaving much, but coming out and making that open field tackle, not always the easiest task.
And it looks like BJ Hammer is waving the white flag as Michael Chen is on to punt in a 4th and 6, which, you know, in a normal game situation, that is an amazing punt, I have to say. Fair caught by John Andre at the 5. Wonderful stuff from Michael Chen there, about the only Bowdoin polar bear who's been worth his salt today. But yeah, so what I was saying before is one of the big, you know, indicators of the health of a passing offense is yards per attempt. And Tufts right now, their offense is, they have 7.4 yards per attempt, so pretty good, 4th in the NESCAC. Bowdoin Polar Bears 4.4, and today 4.1, as the handoff to number 22, Andrew Sanders, the senior, as he rumbles for a first down. That's basically every time Bowdoin drops back to pass, they're only going to get 4 yards every single passing play. That's horrible.
And that was a great read there by Woodson, handing it off to his running back rather than taking it himself. This time he decides to take it himself and brought down in the backfield. But a great read on the play before. Looked like he didn't really have a hole, but it seems like this Tufts offensive line has tired out this Bowdoin defensive front and has began to really open up their holes for the running game. You saw Woodson with the 33-yard rush before and picking up a couple yards there, getting out of really kind of dangerous territory, now on their own 22, 2nd and 10 for the Jumbos.
Yeah, and another thing is that even when they're getting pressures as they bring the blitz here, good carry there by Sanders, getting some garbage time work in. They're not converting. Jacob Carroll is not, he's mobile, but he's not a running quarterback, and yet he's evading people like Russell Wilson out here. Tackling has not been one of the strong suits of this Bowdoin team.
Absolutely, you got to go back to your fundamentals if you're one of the Bowdoin Polar Bear players. You know, got to wrap him up from the waist and drive him into the ground. They haven't really been able to do that super well so far, and Trayvon Woodson now, the future, getting a little bit of playing time.
And he's not going to get much on that carry, maybe a loss of a yard there, and that's going to be 4th down. So Patrick Walsh, who we haven't seen in a while, is going to come onto the field, punting for the Jumbos. He's had a pretty good day so far. This is going to be his 4th punt. He's had a 52-yarder and a 38 average. So he hasn't needed to be used much in this game, but do you want to kind of rave about his boot?
Yeah, so Patrick Walsh has been absolutely incredible for Tufts this season. They haven't really gotten a ton of action this year, or rather this game, but Walsh now set to boot it.
Yeah, on the season, he's got a 39.2 punt average and a good return there up to the 47-yard line.
And speaking a little bit more about Walsh, he has, again, the 61 yards has been his longest punt, but Walsh has also been voted the Special Teams Player of the Week earlier in the season. So Walsh has been incredible and NESCAC recognized for his skill.
Oh, that I think was Allswanger, but he was last in high school. He was the Specialist of the Year for Massachusetts. So clearly they've got a special player out there on special teams, as Brendan Ward runs for 1 yard. I guess that's why they call it special teams. You know, got to be very special to play them. I'm sorry, that was a really bad joke. I don't know. I'm running out of material here. It's 35-0 here at Harold O. Zimmern Field. The crowd's still here. Good showing here from the Jumbo faithful. I guess, you know, more content to enjoy the nice 55-degree weather. I don't even see a cloud in the sky as it's 2nd down and 9.
Now 2nd and 9 for the Polar Bears.
That's going to be tipped by number 76 for the Jumbos, Jaden McDermott. Not really a usual player. Looks like the Tufts defense is content to maybe rotate a little bit of youth out there. Of course, Jaden McDermott, a sophomore from San Jose, California. You also saw Jeff Wolf, a junior. He doesn't really play that often. And, you know, one of the things that stood out to me when reviewing this Jumbo D-line is the age. I think 3 of the 4 starters are set to graduate. So they're trying to find some replacements here as that pass is complete to Greg Olson. He's going to be wrapped up by the leg by Greg Holt. That could have been a little dangerous.
Right, and they're going to mark him down after the loss of forward progress past the first down, so he'll move the chains there. But we see Javon Nenadovic still working super hard on the defensive edge, really just putting a ton of pressure on the quarterback for the Bowdoin Polar Bears, Matthew Marcantino.
Yeah, you know, a lot of the times, you know, you'll look at the stat sheet and say, oh, this guy didn't get a sack. Pressures are important. Now, they're not everything, but as Marcantino drops back to pass, complete for a first down to his main man, Gregory Olson. But if you get pressures, you shorten up that drop, you make it difficult for the quarterback, and that's what Nenadovic is doing in his sophomore season.
Certainly, and it looks like Olson is down and hurt after the tackle from Miles Shipp. And again on that play, Nenadovic came around the edge, ready to put the hurt on Marcantino, but Marcantino getting rid of it to Olson before the tackle. We'll take a look now at some statistics from this game. Looks like Greg Olson, 3 receptions for 32 yards. Not sure if that's updated after that catch, but Brendan Ward, the leading receiver for the Polar Bears, 5 receptions for 65 yards.
Oh, he's up to 4 for 47 now. The update came through.
All right, there it is. So Ward, 5 for 65, but you've got to remember that 41 of those yards came in one play.
And he's going to walk off under his own power. One of the trainers has his arm around, slight limp, but looks like he should be okay for now, and hopefully he's okay, as it's 1st and 10 on the 26 of the Jumbos. So good scoring opportunity here for Bowdoin as it's lifted up. Miles Shipp in coverage, and that ball is going to be incomplete, intended for number 11. Is that Austin McCrum on the outside? The backup quarterback almost catches a touchdown.
So now it looks like they've kind of shifted to a 2-quarterback set here between Marcantino and McCrum, unless Marcantino is over there on the sideline. Can't exactly see from this angle.
No, he's still there. They're going to just play. I think that that Austin McCrum must be one of the backup wide receivers for this team. Otherwise, that route looked pretty good to me.
I mean, definitely knows the playbook to be a quarterback.
Yeah.
As that one
dropped for a loss there
Brendan
by
Ward swallowed up.
Greg Holt, of course. He's probably got his usual 1 billion tackles today. Oh, 10. Actually, I think that's going to be up to 11 tackles for Greg Holt. Had 12 last game. I wonder how you replace that production next year. This is a special player in Greg Holt, and they're dearly going to miss him.
Of course, always the young guys looking to step in, but Greg Holt, a leader.
Back to pass, deep drop, and he's going to be brought down for a sack. Jovan Nenadovic says, hey, stat sheet, put me on there. I want this sack. Up to 5 on the year is the sophomore, and he continues his excellent campaign.
And a beautiful move by Javon Nenadovic to shake that offensive lineman and just attack him from the blind side, really deliver the hurt there to Matthew Marcantino. So well done there from Nenadovic. And he said, as you said, put me on that stat sheet. He's been all over there with the tackles and the pressures, but well done there, finally logging himself a sack.
And this is 4th and long enough that I'm not going to count what the yardage is. And he is going to be brought down almost. Oh, he gets it incomplete. Jovan Nenadovic almost had his 2nd sack of the day. I don't even know how Marcantino even got out of that. He spun around. You know, you can still call that a hit. That counts in the stat sheet, but, you know, it's interesting you use the turn of phrase, put a hurt on him, as Nenadadovic hopes to be a sports doctor one day. So hopefully he won't be doing that in his professional life after he graduates from Tufts.
Absolutely, and Nenadadovic really getting in there really nicely, trying to wrap him up, but a great play by Marcantano, really spinning out of that and somehow getting the ball away as the pocket collapsed, really. The Bowdoin offensive line has not been great here. Tufts has been pressuring them all over the field, and just outstanding play from the Tufts defensive front. Batted down a couple passes. There you go with the sack and a ton of pressures. Tufts flips the field here, or rather will flip the field for the fourth quarter. Tufts will begin on their own 35.
Yeah, that's going to be a turnover on downs for the Bowdoin Polar Bears. As you saw, 3 touchdowns in the second quarter, none in the first, and 2 in the third. And now we begin the fourth as Trevon Woodson is going to bounce it really outside, dancing all over the place, and he is going to be brought down for his troubles. His helmet came off. They're still going to push him. That's going to be a flag.
And it looked like they actually ripped his helmet off his head. So that'll definitely be a penalty on the face mask, as we're trying to get a replay going on right here. Yeah, you see Woodson right there trying to put a move on his man, and that's number 55 for the Bowdoin Polar Bears.
Joe Goetzky, who we've seen a couple of other times. They're going to call that roughing, I think. Do they say roughing? I don't know. He grabbed him by the head, and now it's a 15-yard penalty.
Exactly. So really trying to protect these players. It looked like Woodson's helmet came straight off, and you could see from his body language once he was unprotected that he wanted nothing to do with that play. Literally just ran right away, and wisely done from Woodson. Of course, since it was a defensive player that took it off, he'll be allowed to play the next snap.
Now Andrew Sanders in again, the senior, getting some work in his last season, and he's going to try to bounce it on that zone play, get a yard. 2nd and 9 for the Jumbos on the 45 of Bowdoin.
And I'm not exactly sure if we've seen O.J. Armstrong on the field, but of course, it would be nice to chase the history book record here. Tufts up 35-0, so of course you don't want to injure your starters, but you'd like to see Armstrong get a little crack at history. Maybe once we get a little bit closer to the red zone, we'll see him in there.
Well, it looks like actually 3rd or 4th string QB Paul Campo is out running routes for the Jumbos, so it looks like everyone's just decided to have their backup QBs play wide receiver. And Sanders is going to run that up the middle, breaks a couple of tackles, and gets down to the 41-yard line, and that's going to be a flag.
And a little bit of extracurricular activity there between the Bowdoin Polar Bears and the Jumbos, and a little extra push at the end of the play. Definitely not what you want to see by Bowdoin. They haven't really been playing super disciplined football, and that's definitely an undisciplined move there. So we'll see who this one is on.
Dead ball. Unsportsmanlike conduct. Defense, number 14.
So they're going to put that on Tyreek Jones-Garland, one of the starters on the outside for the Bowdoin Polar Bears, the freshman from Lansdowne, Pennsylvania. And that, I believe, is going to be the 6th Polar Bear penalty of the day. Going to move it 15 yards. So we're going to see six penalties for 70 yards for the Polar Bears, and conversely 5 for 45 for the Jumbos.
And definitely not what you want to see from this Bowdoin Polar Bears team. You know, you want to stay disciplined throughout the whole 60 minutes of the campaign.
Sanders going to, I believe, lose a yard there. You know, hard to tell because he just kept bouncing it and bouncing it and bouncing it.
Right.
So loss of 1 on the play.
And it looked like Woodson may have made the wrong read. It looked like he had a lot of green room in front of him on the far side of the field, but electing to give it to his running back instead, taking it for a loss of 1. Now 2nd and 11 for the Jumbos on the Bowdoin 25.
Well, this is really good experience for Trevon Woodson. You know, freshman quarterback, clearly liked by the coaching staff enough as Andrew Sanders rumbles for about 3 to make it 3rd and 8. But he, you know, he's got a good arm. He's clearly got athletic ability. And, you know, a rushing quarterback has always been one of Jay Savetti's, you know, real likes as a play caller. Of course, you weren't here for this, but for many years we had Ryan McDonald taking snaps for the Jumbos. He graduated last year. Actually, ironically, his best season coming when he was a little hobbled and he couldn't run. But good to get experience in a blowout, as that pass is going to be incomplete. No flags on the play. Good coverage there on number 83, Philip Lutz, the freshman from my home state of New Jersey.
And you saw the officials take off their hat, which meant that the receiver had gone out of bounds prior to making the attempt to catch that ball, which is why there was no pass interference call. It looked like the cornerback may have driven him into the ground before the ball got there, but it's because he was out of bounds, so that ball was, technically speaking, uncatchable. So Woodson there taking a big hit at the end of that play, as we now see a Bowdoin defender down. Not exactly sure how or when that happened throughout the course of that play, but well done playing with a man down to try and stop the Tufts offense, and it looks like they do exactly that, and the kicking unit will come on. Matt Allswanger set to put it through the uprights.
Yeah, and that's going to be the man who actually got the personal foul penalty, Tyreek Jones Garland. So we're going to see, actually, I think they're going to leave the offense on the field on 4th and 6. Of course, you know, Jumbo's played in a lot of close games this year, and it's good to get this 4th down experience. You know, maybe not open up the playbook a lot per se, but see if Trevon Woodson can get out of this. He breaks a tackle and is not able to break another, and that's going to be a turnover on downs for the Jumbos. So going to take over at around the 20-yard line, I'd say.
Yeah, but nicely done there by Woodson to try to shake that defender after they got through the offensive line. Woodson really shaking him off nicely. You saw his jersey literally snap back onto his shoulder pads. So well done by him, as the Bowdoin Polar Bears set to come back onto the field. They're on their own 21 now.
And it looks like the some of the backups for Tufts are going to get a little bit of run. So as we continue into the 4th quarter, I'll try to shout out some players. We got Cam O'Brien, freshman from New Orleans, as that snap by Ward goes. And it looks like there might be a fumble. Is the ball out? No, that is not a fumble. It looks like just a really big gang tackle, as Ward was tackled by basically the entire Jumbo's defense on that play, gain of 2. We've got number 50, Ryan Taylor, the sophomore from Sammamish, Washington. Number 31, Jason Nadansi, sophomore from Linfield, Mass. I believe he actually, Nadansi sounds familiar. I feel like his brother played here last year. I'm not sure. As Ward goes for about no gain, 3rd and 7.
And a little bit of extracurricular activity there. Again, we've got a flag on the play, possibly a little bit of unnecessary roughness.
Oh, that's going to be on Uzochi Apara, or Uzochi Apara, excuse me, and that's going to go for 15 yards. So it looks like, you know, the blowouts, you know, people got to let off a little bit of steam at the moment. But actually, number 8, Tega Egbiri, is out there. I know his parents probably aren't watching because I think they're in the stands right now. We'll try to get you more names as it goes. Almost a sack, and that's going to be an interception for the Jumbos. Number 41, Spencer Allagood from La Jolla, California, gets in some reps in a blowout, and that's going to be his first interception of the season, I'd imagine.
And
congratulations to him.
A beautiful play there from the Jumbos, you know, tipping that ball up. We'll see who got that tip. And someone also missing the play there.
Yeah, I don't know where that ball was going either.
It looked like there was a tip, and then a linebacker tipped it up, and the nice play by Allagood to reel it in. Woodson now back on the field for the Jumbos. Passes it out in the flat.
And that's going to be to John Andre, the punt returner for the Jumbos. He's going to get a nice gain there on 1st down, about 4. Going to shout out Spencer Allagood. He has played in 3 games, has not had a tackle. However, first career interception, so props to him for that. And hopefully this is the start of a good Jumbo's career as we sit on the 43-yard line. Handoff goes to number 26, Tyler Johnson, the freshman. He's going to get a lot of run there, and he is very mad at himself that he did not get 6 because he had a good head of steam. Probably could have gotten it down to the 26-yard line. So the backups for Tufts are playing pretty well too.
Yeah, you see these freshmen, they're coming out with a ton of fire, waiting all season for a situation like this. You got a big lead, 35-0, and finally the ability to get out there and do what they love, play the game of football. You got a freshman out wide, Jackson Butler, the freshman. We'll see if this one's designed for him as the Jumbos decide to run it.
Johnson, yeah. Johnson still going. A lot of burst for him, and he is mad at himself again. Another hand slap to the turf. But this man thinks he's getting 6 on every play.
My, oh my, was that hole gigantic. An absolute beautiful block there in the middle between the center, Dylan Daisy, and Mark Mulvaney.
Yeah, looking there on the replay, he definitely could have scored.
Yeah, and he had a lot of green room in front of him. Looked like he may have gotten tripped up by one of his own as Woodson set back again.
They're feeding him right now, Johnson. And that's going to be Woodson himself. And Woodson's going to break into the end zone for the touchdown.
And an absolutely beautiful run there. Great read by Trayvon Woodson. He saw that linebacker came in and bit on the running back. And Woodson running right through, put a nice move on that safety, and just went right and scored. Beautiful move there from Trayvon Woodson. And it'll be another extra point here from Matt Allswanger.
Allswanger clearly mad about that 33-yarder before, trying to get special teamer of the week. Can he make it 6 extra points? We're all waiting with bated breath. Ball is up, spotted, and it is good. Matt Allswanger, 6 for 6 on the day. A true bounce-back game from the junior. And we'd like to shout out Trayvon Woodson for his first career rushing touchdown. Congratulations to him.
An absolutely beautiful read there from Woodson. Again, that read option saw the linebacker bite and just turned the corner, went right around him, put a nice move on his safety, went right, and right in there for the touchdown. So Tufts finds themselves now up 42-0 with 9:16 to go, and it could be the beginning of some more freshmen funneling into this game. I'm sure a bunch of them in now on special teams for the Jumbos.
Yeah, how important would you say this is for the freshmen to get some run at this point in the season and at this point in their careers, the young guys?
Well, you've got a team eliminated from the playoffs, so it's exponentially important because the future is all you're looking at this point. You're 2-3 after this game. You're going to be 3-3, but still eliminated by tiebreak among the top teams in the league. Again, Allswanger set to kick, but these freshmen need to get some run. You got to see who you've got to try to replace him.
Brendan Ward trying to make something happen on the kickoff return. He's going to break a couple of tackles, but ultimately brought down by the man who we just saw a lot on that last drive, Tyler Johnson from Fairfax Station, Virginia. So making tackles and making plays in 2 phases of the game. And now Jumbo defense back out to play. We're going to see Matty Drouillard from Norfolk, Mass. I hope I said Norfolk right. I don't know. Massachusetts towns are really weird to say. Do you know? I thought that, well, when I was on the Cape 2 summers ago, I thought that Barnstable was Barnstable. Like that makes sense, right? Barnstable, but it's Barnstable.
Yeah, Massachusetts towns definitely can be tricky.
Worcester, it's not Worcestershire, as Brendan Ward trying to break a couple of tackles, but ultimately the Jumbos are there, stopping him after 2 yards. But, while we got time, I'd probably say we could look at who's going to graduate for this Jumbo team, as these young guys get more and more play. 2nd and 8 on the 28-yard line. Marcantano in the pistol, the triple option. He's going to opt to throw on the RPO there. And that is going to be a couple of yards for Jonathan. Actually, no. I have two scorebooks open, my bad. Billy Sylvia, the freshman running back from Braintree, Mass. Of course, Braintree, one of those stops on the red line. That's all I have to say about Braintree, but of course, him being in now signifies that it's time for the young guys from Maine to get a little bit of action here.
Right, and we're talking about the future for Tufts. And you've got to think about the future for the Polar Bears also. You've got two junior quarterbacks, one of them in the game right now in Marcantano. He sets back now.
Marcantano passes high to Billy Sylvia, and that's going to be 4th down. He was rocked on that play.
Yeah, he got buried, getting up a little bit slowly now, walking around the wrong direction, but finally turns around as it's 4th down and 5. He'll jog back to the bench as the Polar Bears really, at this point in the game, waving the white flag, or the remains of it, as the Jumbos are up 42-0.
Yeah, I think you just got the stick left on that white flag for sure. It's been waving for a while as Michael Chen out for his 10th punt of the day.
And definitely not what you want to see for an offense. 10 punts, no points. Absolutely brutal play here.
And that's going to be a bad bounce for Chen and the Bowdoin special teams. So Jumbo's going to get the ball with good field position at the 43-yard line. Now, there's only 7:30 left in the game, so it doesn't look like the Jumbos will hit the insane margin of victory of 54 points that the Trinity Bantams put on Bowdoin in the second game of their season. But it's conceivable the way that these Jumbos backups are playing that they could get another. And is that Jacob Carroll in right now? And that's going to be a lot of run. Andrew Sanders has the room. Does he have it to go, though? Yes, he does. Andrew Sanders. Oh, there's a flag. There's a flag on the play. He spoke too soon. This might be coming back. And that's going to be holding on number 75, Dylan Daisy, the center. Oh, that's feel
brutal.
For Andrew Sanders right now. Of course, that hole might have, contributed to that. But of course, a senior.
Yeah, and you see
not
him
really going to get a lot of work.
Yeah, you saw him right in the middle there on that replay, kind of just holding him from behind. Definitely can't do that, but still a beautiful run there from Sanders. We'll see if Tufts continues to keep the ball on the ground to try to chew up some clock. It seems like that's the most logical move here from the Jumbos, as we see. Looks like a new quarterback in the game as well. I think Woodson may be taking a seat, and it looks like maybe they running?
New quarterback. It's going to be Cam Carty, the sophomore from Franklin Lakes, New Jersey. He's not going to do much, though. That's going to be a carry of about 5 by Xavier Brooks, the sophomore from Chickamauga, Georgia.
And they bring in the big-bodied freshman, Billy Dunn. 6'4", 200 pounds. A huge target here for the sophomore quarterback, Cam Carty. We'll see what he can do. We'll see if Dunn can connect with Carty.
I think he's a little over the line, but, who cares? And that's going to be rumbling, and that's going to be a flag, as it looks like Xavier Brooks gained 3. But do you think this is which way is it going?
Obvious horse collar tackle there from the Polar Bear defensive front. It looked like number 98, Stephen Flynn. There we go, Stephen Flynn. I called that one right out. The freshman defensive end, maybe not gaining a ton of experience, but clearly from around the helmet, not allowed to do that. So we'll see what the Jumbos decide to do. Probably just going to continue to chew up clock as they march down the field after that 15-yard personal foul.
Yeah, going to go on the 35-yard line of Bowdoin. 6:36 to go in this ball game. That's going to put the penalty numbers for Bowdoin up to 7 for 85. Of course, most of those penalties really coming while the game was out of reach. A lot of personal fouls, as that's going to be Sanders rushing for no gain. 2nd down and 10. Crowd still here in full force. You got to hand it to them. They just, they really just love seeing this beatdown. Of course, Tufts, besides that opening win against the Trinity Bantams, which really, we all thought that was going to be a watershed moment for this Tufts Jumbos team, beating the defending champions in a gritty defensive battle. And then you fall to Williams and Amherst, and you're saying, okay, well, we can still make this. And then losing the game to Middlebury, as that's going to be a rush for a first down by Jay Tyler, the senior from Boston, Massachusetts.
And Tyler just checking in there. Nice run by him, seeing the hole and attacking it with some force, as Jackson Butler, another freshman wide receiver, 6'2", 190 pounds, sets up on the outside. So looks like Dunn may have taken a seat, but we've got Jackson Tyler, the freshman wide receiver, on the outside for the Jumbos. We'll see if they decide to put the ball in the air, but the run game's been working, so they should keep pounding it. And a nice hole there, attacks it with force, but unable to get into the end zone. Again, that was Jay Tyler on the carry, and they've just been destroying this Bowdoin defense.
Yeah, these are mostly backups in right now, but I'm liking the way this offensive line is working right now. The young guys really getting some push. Number 77, Izzy Lobin, a freshman from Evanston, Illinois, home of Northwestern. You got number 53, Mark Mulvaney. Well, he's a starter, so got to keep some veterans in there. Cam Carty going to hand off to Jay Tyler, and Jay Tyler's going to get in for the score. Touchdown, Jumbos, 48-0. I could have scored on that play. That was a huge hole.
Yeah, and an absolutely beautiful hole there created between the right guard there and the right tackle. He shot right through that gap, and the cornerback on the help, unable to attack it quick enough. We've got Matt Alswanger out for another extra point, but a beautiful run there. Great play, well drawn up, right between the two blocks, and walked it right into the end zone for a touchdown.
Extra point. Can he go 7 for 7? Alswanger. Ball is up, spotted, and that's off. Oh, no, it's not off the upright. It is in, and it is good. Alswanger, 7 for 7 on the day. I think he's winning Special Teams Player of the Year, or the week this week.
He's definitely got a shot, 7 for 7. It's all you could really ask for, converting on all of his opportunities. And they have been plentiful here, as the Jumbos have been destroying the Bowdoin Polar Bears.
All right, so now that, it's 49-0, I guess we'll check around Tufts to see how everything is going for them. So, of course, field hockey already ended. Women's soccer, of course, tied in double overtime. Interesting there. And the big marquee team right now, Tufts Jumbos men's soccer, has been in a bit of a rut lately after starting out the season so hot. But they are up right now 1-0 on Conn College as they attempt to defend their NCAA title. I guess around the NESCAC in terms of football. You want to get these games?
Sure, we'll walk around the NESCAC really quickly. We've got Williams beating Bates. They beat Bates, rather. Final score of 35-7. Trinity putting the hurt on Colby, 43-7, while Middlebury beating Wesleyan 45-20. Those are the two remaining undefeated teams, and that one, with not a ton of time left in the fourth quarter, probably will see a final score similar to 45-20, and Amherst beating Hamilton by 8 points with not a ton of time left in the fourth as well.
Well, Amherst-Hamilton is pretty close. Hamilton actually been really resurgent, been able to take care of the football decently well. One of the big things we've talked about is is turnover differential. And right now, interesting thing about Middlebury, they have 13, they have turned the ball over 13 times, as we're going to see a flag on that rushing attempt by Billy Sylvia. But they also have, that's going to be a false start on number 58, Alex Clark, the sophomore. But, you have Amherst at 7 turnovers by themselves, created 18 takeaways at plus 11. Obviously, NESCAC is not going to belong to the Jumbos this season, unfortunately. But who do you have as your pick to win?
I'm going to go with Middlebury to take the NESCAC. To be completely honest with you, a win for them this week would be huge. Taking the win over the only remaining undefeated team, you really establish yourself as the top team. And, you've got 2 games left. One of them against a Tufts team who, again, they say when you have nothing to lose, you're dangerous. So you come in and you're playing a Jumbo's team that could potentially give you some work. You never know. I mean, I think that Middlebury is going to end up being the top team here, but we'll see as we enter the final couple weeks of NESCAC play.
Yeah, so actually the thing is I was going to pick Middlebury until I realized that Amherst's one loss was to that same team. So Middlebury has a crucial tiebreaker, and with Wesleyan about to lose, that's going to leave they're the Panthers, right?
Oh, I'm not
Panther.
sure.
I'll say the Middlebury Panthers. Panthers are going to be atop the NESCAC with a 6-0 record. Everyone is going to be 5-1 or worse, as that carry goes for no gain. Billy Sylvia getting a lot of run here in the waning moments of this one. 3:16 and counting to go. Going to see number 71, Michael Butler, the freshman, run off here. So, actually, he's listed as an O-lineman. I wonder what he's doing out there.
And we've got a couple freshmen in the game here now. Jay-Sean Means, the far cornerback, giving his receiver a lot of room, but just making sure he defends that first down as the Polar Bears opt to run.
And still having trouble getting whoever the running back was on that carry. Yeah, that's Billy Sylvia again. New quarterback in for the Bowdoin Polar Bears. If Anthony Hale's parents are watching, he is currently in the game. Good stuff for him. 4th down now, and Michael Chen is going to be out for his 11th punt of the day.
And it looks like Jack Racine is also in the game. He battled a shoulder injury early in the game. That's why he's wearing that big thing on his right shoulder now. But he'll remain in on special teams for the Jumbos. Played a good corner right there, making sure the Polar Bears couldn't get any first downs.
Michael Chen back to punt. High booming kick. Taken by, I believe, is that John Andre back there. And he was absolutely walloped on that one. Nope, that's not John Andre. That is going to be Philip Lutz, the freshman from North Caldwell, New Jersey. He's out there receiving punts. Obviously, Dom Borelli right now has been the punt returner so far, and as a 5th-year senior, he's not going to be back for a 6th. So trying to work out some other returners besides Andre, who's been really good for the Jumbos this season. Of course, you have Cam Carty out there, and he's going to hand off to number 35, James Dillon from Sudbury, Mass.
Right, and one of the things that we've seen...
Was that James Dillon? No, that's not James Dillon. That's Melosi Napoleon from Winchester, California, the freshman. That is an amazing name.
One of the things that we've seen here from a lot of these Jumbo freshmen is the ability to play still some pretty good football, not super sloppy, but, you saw not a great snap there. Quarterback had to pick it up and hand it to the running back just a little bit late, and so wrapped up in the backfield was that play and kind of dropped there. Lucky to get it back to the line of scrimmage, rather dropped for a loss.
And that is going to be a running attempt by Napoleon. He's really going. He's past the 40. He's down to the 37-yard line. Melosi Napoleon with the big rush of around, I think that's 50 yards for him. So these freshmen are looking good right now. Of course, anyone could look good against the Bowdoin rushing defense, but still.
But a great job there by using his patience and sort of bouncing that to the outside, able to turn the corner and put that one upfield for a Jumbo first down. Of course, you've only got a minute left on the clock, so this one's pretty much going to end here. I don't think the Jumbos are going to take a knee. They're going to...
Melosi Napoleon is going to be brought down. That's 3 Bowdoin Polar Bears bringing him down for a tackle for loss. Going to lose 3 on the play. Going to credit number 98, Stephen Flynn from Quincy, Mass, making the tackle there. And Napoleon is going to go off, and Tyler Johnson is coming back on for the Jumbos. 29-28. This one's winding down as we speak.
And now back at the wide receiver positions for the Jumbos, we've got Billy Dunn and Jackson Butler, but with 15 seconds left to go, This one's all but over here. They're going to run this one out. Oh, but a nice play.
Yeah, Johnson, is going to run out to the 35-yard line and run out this ball game 3-2-1. That is a Jumbo victory on homecoming, everybody. So Tufts obliterates the Bowdoin Polar Bears 49-0, a dominant performance in all three phases of the game. And a good win for a Jumbo's team that since week one really didn't have one.
And you're not wrong about that. Tufts really all over the field making plays, putting up 49 points. To be quite honest with you, that may match their total from this entire season. Jacob Carroll passing for 325 yards, an outstanding game from him. Dom Borelli, great game for the Jumbos. 9 attempts for 45 yards and a touchdown. Trayvon Woodson coming in and using his legs. 9 attempts for 54 yards on the ground, not to mention 7 for 8 with 61 passing yards. And, of course, rushing touchdown for him. We've got 4 rushing touchdowns from the Jumbos in general. Of course, Mike Pedrini had one and Jay Tyler with the other. 3 receiving touchdowns from O.J. Armstrong. And, of course, not really a shot at the record as he kind of got benched after that for lack of better term. You don't really want to get your studs injured at this point in the season.
Yeah, O.J. Armstrong, of course, a junior, going to be probably a force right now and in his senior season. Of course, 3 touchdowns today, tying the Tufts University single game receiving touchdown record. And, of course, we should update you on a couple of things. First of all, Tufts right now is over Connecticut College in men's soccer 1-0. If you want to keep your JumboCast coverage going, switch right on to that game. Let's go to TuftsJumboCast.com. We will not, actually, yes, we will. We will have next week's Tufts game. It's Parents' Day weekend. And at 1 o'clock p.m. on the 26th, Hamilton will come to town, come to Tufts. Right now, they're in a fierce battle with Amherst, 28-28 with the ball at the Amherst 27. So they've got, if they play their cards right, Hamilton is about to upset the Amherst Mammoths, which would put them at 3-3, right about where Tufts is going to be. So we will have that game on TuftsJumboCast.com. Of course, you can go to the Tufts Athletics website, find it there. That's going to be it for me and for my partner, Sam Brill. A fantastic win for the Jumbos. Thank you all for watching JumboCast, and we'll see you next week.